I step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, well, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Ah, yes, another beautiful morning, and we're hoping that you're feeling so good as we welcome you once again to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on SABC3. High five.
High five.
High five, an extra special high five to you, Zoe.
Yes.
Happy Women's Month to you
is.
and to all the ladies all around the world, wherever you may be watching this from. Happy Women's Month.
Man, it is such a special month. I can't believe it. We're here, the 1st of August 2018, an entire month dedicated to you incredible women. You incredible woman, Leanne over there, incredible woman. It's going to be an absolutely amazing month, man. Looking forward to it. On your Feel Good Breakfast Show this morning, nice little breakfast basket planned for you. Co-parenting in our parenting talks. What does it look like? What do you need to know? How do you manage it? It can get rather complicated and messy if you do not know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So stick around for all of that advice.
Yeah, what's not complicated and messy this morning, though, is our performances. And
Yes.
we'll be highlighting some of our favorite Women Crush Wednesday performers through the years. And we hope that you'll be enjoying that with us as we share the music.
I'm sure you will. And then we want to celebrate, you know, a field that's not necessarily dominated by women, but the field of technology. And today we're going to take a look at the 50 most inspiring women in the tech field.
Oh,
so
awesome.
we're going to be celebrating them.
I like that. And they're also going to be honing in on all of those complications around colds and the flu, because it feels like there was a super bug that swept across us all and we're still trying to shake it. And
I can't shake it.
look, man, it's a bit of tough one. No. We good. You know, I don't know how to feel when people do that, to be honest.
Like,
hey, I'm
here's
sick.
my,
Oh, good.
here's my chance. Here's my
Just take
chance.
it.
You can have it.
We're
Hey,
all friends.
it's
We're all
fabulous.
friends.
It's
Anyway, so I'll
fabulous.
bring you those details.
Anyway, let's get this day out of the way and take a look at the news headline.
In your national news this morning, the official unemployment rate increased by 0.5% to 27.2% in the second quarter of 2018, up from 26.7% in the first 3 months of the year. Statistician General Risenka Maluleka released the quarterly labour force survey for April, May and June in Pretoria yesterday. The increase in the unemployment rate was due to decline of 90%, or rather 90,000 people in employment, as well as an increase of 102,000 people who became unemployed. Additionally, the number of discouraged job seekers rose to 2.9 million between the first and the second quarters of 2018. Social Security Agency known as SASSA has warned grant beneficiaries who have the new gold card that they can't be used at cash pay points for at least 2 months. However, the agency says they can be used at ATMs, post offices and merchant stores. Earlier system glitches affected 700,000 of the 12 million beneficiaries who hold the new gold card. SASSA spokesperson Paseka Letsatsi said together with the South African Post Office, they have been working 24 hours around the clock to ensure the system is up and running. Now moving further abroad, Zimbabwe's government warned election candidates yesterday that they could face prosecution and jail sentences for prematurely announcing results of landmark polls after the main opposition MDC party said that it had won. The Zimbabwe Electoral Commission results for the presidential candidate will only be released once counting has been completed in over 10,000 polling stations across the country. The ZEC's chair, Priscilla Chikunga, says no rigging or cheating has been detected. The estimated voting turnout was around 75%. Full results are due on Saturday. And then finally, North Korea appears to be building new ballistic missiles despite the recent warming of ties with the Trump administration and pledges to denuclearize. Now, unnamed U.S. officials said that spy satellites had spotted continuing activity at a site that has produced ballistic missiles. Donald Trump met North Korea's Kim Jong-un in Singapore in June, and the two men pledged to work together towards denuclearization. Trump later said North Korea was no longer a nuclear threat. However, he was criticized at home for making concessions without security, or rather securing any firm commitment from Kim. Well, that was your 6 o'clock news update. Time for a very first look at what's happening in the world of sport. Kat has those details.
Thank you very much, Leah. Now, the Proteas are back in action today as they take on Sri Lanka in the second ODI of their 5-match series. South Africa already hold a 1-0 lead after a standout performance from Tabrez Shamsi, Kagiso Rabada and JP Dumini helped guide the team to a 5-wicket win in the first ODI. Today's match gets underway at the Rangiri Dambula Stadium in Sri Lanka at 11 a.m. South African time. Now, Kaizer Chiefs' new head coach Giovanni Solinas can officially start his reign in charge of the club after receiving his work permit yesterday. Solinas was confirmed as the new Chiefs manager on the 13th of July, but hasn't been able to lead the team in pre-season matches without the official paperwork. Solinas will be a pitch side for Kaizer Chiefs' opening PSL game as they tackle Mamelodi Sundowns on Saturday. And finally, former world number 1 Andy Murray marked his return to hard courts with a comeback victory over Mackenzie McDonald at the City Open in Washington, D.C., and this happened yesterday. In his first hard court game in 17 months, Murray battled back after losing the first set to eventually see out the 3-6, 6-4, 7-5 round 1 win in 2 hours and 37 minutes. And elsewhere, there were also day 2 wins for Naomi Osaka, Sloane Stephens and Noah Rubin. And that's a roundup of your sporting headlines.
All right, let's quickly take a first look at your weather and your temperatures going into your Wednesday morning. And it looks like warmer temperatures can definitely be felt for the Gauteng region today. Mbombela especially up to 33 later on today. But then cooler along the coast and also some rain expected for Cape Town and Worcester. We already saw a couple of raindrops fall over the Cape Town area this morning, which is very, very good. We're hoping for more for sure. But your temperatures, Polokwane 9 minimum this morning with a maximum 26 degrees. Mbombela 10 and that maximum 33. Pretoria 8.24. Johannesburg 7.23, Mahikeng 7.27, Klerksdorp 4.26, Kimberley 2 minimum with a maximum 22, Bloemfontein -2 and a high of 21, Richards Bay 16.25, Pietermaritzburg 6.24, Durban 16.22, Mthatha 4 minimum, your maximum 21, East London 11.21, Cradock 1 minimum this morning with a maximum 19 degrees, Port Elizabeth 10.19, George 8.18, Sutherland starting off on -1, reaching a high of only 11 degrees, nice and cool today. Cape Town 9.17 with some scattered showers expected and some scattered showers for Worcester as well, for minimum, your maximum 15. Springbok 3.16, Uppington 3 this morning and reaching a maximum of 20 degrees Celsius. That's a wrap of your weather and your temperatures for the 6 o'clock bulletin. As always, we'll keep you updated throughout the course of your Feel Good Morning. I'm back just after 6:30.
Well, it is a new day, it's a new month, and we live in a world that is constantly changing. Life is definitely getting faster by the day. So as we welcome today, the very first day of August, as well as kickstarting Women's Month, we're going to take a look at what happened in history on this day.
Let's do so, and all the way back to 1774, where scientist Joseph Priestley is credited with discovering oxygen gas after noting it in a number of his experiments, or he noted the properties in some of his experiments. And although the gas wasn't fully understood and wasn't known as oxygen until some years later, Priestley also is the inventor of soda water, having accidentally discovered it in 1767. How do you discover soda water accidentally? Like you see it bubbling and you're like,
playing around.
I'm going to drink this.
And I'm okay afterwards, so it's okay.
Yeah, if it kills me, it's fine.
Today is also the National Day of Switzerland, set to commemorate the Federal Charter of 1291. Now that brought together what is now known as central modern-day Switzerland.
Ah, thanks for the chocolate, guys. And also on this day in 1981, I think this is the day that video truly did kill the radio star. The MTV channel went on air for the first time, popularizing the idea of the music video being a crucial element of success in the music industry, and it proved to be instrumental in the careers of stars, of course, such as Madonna and Michael Jackson, and even nowadays, most people's careers are made off the back of the success of the music videos.
And there used to be documentaries on how they made music videos and the meaning behind music videos.
Absolutely.
It's been really, really cool. And that was our bite-sized dose of history. So why don't you go out today, seize the day, and make it one for the books.
All right, we're going to be taking our very first break. It's your Wednesday morning. Thank you very much for tuning in and spending your Wednesday morning with us on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. When we come back, a big topic with regards to parenting. We hang out with our parent coach, Laura Markovitz. She's here. It's all about co-parenting, how to go about it successfully. Stick around.
Exactly, and we have to take a look at what's happening in the world of technology. A new robot shows off some surprising dexterity, and we're going to bring you all those details after the break.
Wow, look at that.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
A very good morning. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show on SABC3. It's Expresso. It's August. It's Women's Month, and I hope that you all woke up feeling like a natural fuzzy. Take a look at these two lovely ladies here in our studio, Zoe and Leanne. We asked you as we begin August, which is Women's Month. Let's hear it from you. Who are the special women in your life? Nathan Paul says, I'm grateful for every woman that plays an important role in my life. Really grateful. Thanks, Mom. Carmen says, a special woman in my life is my mother. I love her to bits. Sabella also says, my mom. Colin Eddie Anthony says, good morning, Expresso. I got two women in my life that I appreciate. My mom and my girlfriend. Have a great Wednesday. We hope you have a great one too. Let's take one last one from Bongin Kosi, who says, an extra special greetings to Zoe and Leanne. And the most important woman in my life is my mother and all other women who play a huge role in my life. Let's celebrate them not just today, not just this month, but every single day of our lives.
Well, we are celebrating Women's Month, of course, all the way through the month of August, and it is a very, very special time. Well, today marks a movement by 20,000 women who marched against the past laws in our country at the time, all the way to the Union Buildings in Pretoria. And today we want to honor some really special and amazing sheroes, and we'll do that through the month of August.
I'm looking forward to this. I really enjoyed how we looked at Mandela Day, you know, in fact, Nelson Mandela quotes. Yeah. And today we want to put the spotlight on our woman of fortitude is TV host, media mogul and entrepreneur Kanye Ndlomo, and who said, failure is an opportunity to learn and to do better next time. It's part of the path to greatness, which was never meant to be smooth.
Well, you strike a woman and you strike a rock, and we certainly do salute all of the women and the different roles that they played, and the courage and the passion and the dedication to fighting for freedom in our beautiful country. So we will continue to share those amazing quotes by incredible women that are known as our very own South Africans in our country.
Fantastic, man. I'm looking forward to just learning more and just once again be reminded of those inspirational women throughout the course of Women's Month. It's
Absolutely.
going to be amazing.
And particularly from this lady.
Absolutely. Let's introduce you, parent coach Laura Markovitz. She's here this morning. Now, separating as a couple, it can be a very, very hard thing to do, especially if there is a child involved. But the question is, can it be possible to co-parent in a way that is still beneficial for that child involved? And this is what we're talking about this morning. We're talking about co-parenting and how to go about it successfully. Laura, thank you very much for joining us. Lovely to have you.
Good to be here.
Yeah,
Thank
and here's
you.
to hoping that the answer to Ewan's question is a resounding yes, it is possible. But let's quickly start off with, what does healthy co-parenting look like?
Yeah, well, I think you've got to think, well, what are we talking about when
Yes.
we're talking about co-parenting? So first of all, it's when two parents separate and you are changing the nuclear structure that was existing and you're going into something different. And obviously it's a really hard, awful process to go through. It's never a simple decision. It often is a really emotional, heartfelt decision to make. And now we've got to navigate what happens because two parents are divorcing, but you're not divorcing the kids. So we've got to go, well, what happens now? And co-parenting is the structure that you then implement post-divorce and separation. And it can look very different in different families. So depending on the setup, it's usually governed by a parenting plan, and that will set up how things are navigated between the homes, how much time is spent with each parent, how to manage things like holidays, birthdays, how to navigate those sorts of things. Yeah. And of course, as you say, there can be kind of good or bad co-parenting.
So let's talk about that, because how can good co-parenting be beneficial for a child? Because obviously it's not the ideal situation. Like looking at a picture like that, you know, you have your mom and dad, they're always together, they're there, and that's the example that you as a kid then see. But obviously in some certain situations, just it cannot be like that. So can it still be a good thing? How does it work then, if it's a good thing, if you're looking from a positive side?
So if it's being handled in a way that is positive, it can have really good holding, containing aspects for kids. Kids who are co-parented in a positive way generally feel more contained, they feel less torn between their two parents. They're able to actually carry on being kids and not have to handle, be managing the adult parent stuff. They can carry on kind of being kids and not holding all the stress that is going on for their parents. So if it's being managed well, we can let kids be kids and allow them to feel more contained and more stable in spite of the big changes that have happened in their lives.
Yeah. So if I just take it a step back, you spoke about a parenting plan as the ground basis of a good and healthy co-parenting relationship. So where does this parenting plan come from? How does one draw it up? Who's involved in deciding what is in it and what should be in it?
So that can differ. So sometimes it's, well, what I would recommend is generally going, if you are struggling to come to this decision on your own, to involve a mediator, somebody who can actually, a third party who can help you with these difficult decisions. Because often with a parenting plan, there's so much encumbered big decisions in terms of finances, who has the kids when, all those sorts of things. So you can have a mediator involved, or where things become more contentious and people aren't able to handle things through a mediator, then you do need to go through a lawyer who can help you draw up something that will then get made an order of the court, which is your parenting plan.
And I think that at the end of the day, doesn't matter what happens between mom and dad, there needs to be that mutual understanding, even in the co-parenting situation, you know, to make it, because it really is all about the child at the end of the day. And that's there needs to be that respect, I think, and that's what you need to reach at the end of the day. Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
All right, Laura, we're going to ask you to stay with us for a little bit longer, because when we come back, we're going to start talking about the tips that you have to share with us about good co-parenting, and that is our topic, and a very, very important one at the end of the day, just like you said, that it is about the benefit of the child and how to best ensure that they have a future in which they are intact people in life, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely vital.
Well, right now it's time for some fun and games as we get to play our emoji charades game. So this is really a game where we test your knowledge to see if your entertainment knowledge is on point. So we're going to give you a couple of emojis on the screen, and we're asking you, is it a movie, is it a song, is it a TV show? You need to let us know. We'll also give you an indication as to how many words is in the title. So as you can see on the screen right now, there's a musical note. We're looking for 5 words, and it's a little emoji that says... Is she doing karate? I don't know if it's karate or don't or whatever. And then a sad emoji.
I think she was doing karate and then she beat someone up and then she was sad. I don't know. But here's some clues for you right now. This is the lead single for the artist's upcoming 4th studio album called Sweetener. It was released with a music video earlier this year, and it's the first song she wrote after the Manchester Arena bombing where she performed. I think we just gave it away. The artist also hopes to bring light and comfort, while at the same time she wants to make you dance and live your best life.
Well, if you think you know the answer, well, head on over to our social media pages with that hashtag Expresso Show and take a guess at our emoji charades game.
Isn't it that da 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 da? I think it might be that. Anyway, it is the beginning of a new month with new music on the 5FM Top 40 Local and International Chart Show. So what we know so far is that this week Sunel Musician and Shekinah have dropped a few spots, and Paxton has made a re-entry. But of course, the big question is, who will be number 1? Well, let's find out with Nick Hammond.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Nick Hammond here, back to recap the 5FM Top 40 from this past weekend. And like we always do, we jump straight into it and we look at the brand new entries onto the charts. And speaking of which, starting off this week at number 40, it's new from Zed, who we know lots about, and a new artist on vocals called Ella Do. This track is called Happy Now.
In a foreign place, are you happy now?
Then coming in at number 35, it's music from Tekashi 6ix9ine, taking a bit of a different angle for him, calming it down a little bit from what we're used to with the more aggressive kind of sound. It's called Fifi, and he's teamed up with Nicki Minaj. Time to get into my mover and shaker picks for the week now. These are songs that are performing really well in the charts, or perhaps, like in the case of the first one, they've re-entered after being taken off. It's a song that debuted itself on 5FM. It's Paxton out of Cape Town with Angie.
Hold on to him tightly, 'cause he's the one who's flirting with me. He's the one who's messaging me. He's the one who keeps calling me, yeah. Angie.
My second mover shake a pick jumped all the way from 23 to 16. It's an international collaboration for the ages. It's Martin Garrix and Khalid with Oceans.
You could put an ocean between our love. It will keep us apart.
Time to take a look at the top 10 songs from 5FM's Top 40 this past weekend. Beginning at number 10, it's a song that's dropped one position from number 9 the week before. It's local, it's beautiful, it's Shakana and Morishan with Different. Coming in at number 9 this week, it's Jonas Blue who's teamed up with Jack and Jack. This song is called Rise. Coming in at number 8 this week, unfortunately not a lot of good news for Demi Lovato at the moment, but she has secured the spot on the 5FM Top 40 with Clean Bandit. It's called Solo. Number 7 this week, it's dropped down from the week before. A lot of us were hoping it would finally take that number 1 spot, but still the highest local entry on the charts. It's Lady Zahara with Collide. Jumping up 2 from number 8 to number 6 this week in the 5FM Top 40, the breakout star out of the UK, it's LMA with Boot Up.
Listen to my heart go boot up.
With now 10 weeks on the charts, halfway through the back end of the top 10 at number 5, off the second season of 13 Reasons Why, of which she's a producer, it's Selena Gomez with Back to You.
I know I go back to you.
After 5 weeks from the charts, it's jumped from number 7 to number 4. Headed in the right direction is George Ezra, back with new music on 5FM. This track called Shotgun.
I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone.
After now 14 weeks on the chart, staying steady at number 3 for 2 weeks in a row, it's a sample of a classic. I Like It. J Balvin, Bad Bunny, and Cardi B.
Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome. What's his name?
At number 2, a song which Challenge has taken the world by storm off his latest album called Scorpion. This is Drake, probably a future number 1. We've got to keep an eye on this with In My Feelings.
He deserved it. I thought you would've won from the jump. That confirmed it. Trap money, Benny.
Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and make sure to keep listening to me, Nick Hammond, Monday to Friday, 9 to 12 on 5FM's Hammond Time, and of course, every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m, as together we count down the 40 biggest songs in South Africa. And speaking of which, this past weekend, all the way at number 1 now for the 3rd week in a row, it's Cardi B and Maroon 5 with Girls Like You.
Like me till sundown when I come through, I need a groove like you, yeah.
Not too long ago, I was dancing for dollars. No, it's really real if I let you be my mama. You don't want a girl like me, I'm too crazy. For every other girl you meet is too gazy. I'm sure them other girls were nice enough, but you need someone to spice it up. So who you gonna call? Cardi, Cardi. Come and rev it up like a Harley, Harley. Why is the best food always forbidden? I'm coming to you now doing 20 over the limit. The red light, stop. I don't play when it comes to my heart, let's get it though. I don't really want a white horse in a carriage. I'm thinking more white horses and carriage. I need you right here, cause every time you fall, I play with this kitty like you play with your guitar.
Cause girls like you, guys like me till sundown when I come through, I need a girl like you, yeah, yeah. Girls like you, love on me, do what I want when I.
Very cool, man. Hey,
Gotta love the
very
5FM Top 40. Absolutely amazing. Now, talking about music, we're also celebrating the phenomenal artists, female artists that have been on our show across the last couple of, years or so.
Yes.
And we have decided that we're going to choose a few iconic performances, one of which is Zahara, but you'll have to stay tuned for more.
Oh, and she is amazing. And then also heading on the tech front a little bit, take a look at what is shaking there. Listen, how's this one? Artificial intelligence, we know that it's grown, but this is a type of AI that can look you in the eye and predict your personality.
That's a lot of
Scary,
power. Very.
scary after the break.
I don't know how I feel about that.
The Expresso family is about to get a whole lot bigger. Meet your brand new presenter on Monday, the 6th of August.
After thousands of aspiring TV stars from across the country stood in line to audition, only one of the winners will step into the spotlight on your feel-good breakfast show.
Catch the nail-biting grand finale this Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m.
3 winners, 3 new faces for SABC3.
The stage is yours. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Happy Wednesday as we start the brand new day. Let's quickly reflect on some brand new news out of the world of tech and some very exciting news. OpenAI, a non-profit company, have focused, of course, on developing safe artificial intelligence. And this week they released a video showing off their newly designed robotic system called Dactyl. Right? And this is able to maneuver so realistically that it's almost human-like. Take a look at this video. And in the video, this hand holds a cube and it's required to then spin it around and fit it into a desired position. Now, once it achieves this, it then moves on to the next level and then repositions the cube again. Now, what's truly interesting about this is that the hand wasn't specifically taught to make human-like movements, but rather they naturally emerged as the AI figured out what was the best way to manipulate the cube. And the system was able to do this by making use of 6,000 CPUs to squeeze in 100 years worth of data into a few sessions. Look at that.
That is incredible.
That is just, it's nuts.
Now, the thing about artificial intelligence is you think it's quite cool that it can move a hand, but how about using AI to determine your personality?
See, that's scary.
And not just your personality, but through your eyes. And that is what this new study has shown. And in fact, there's a standard personality model that they use, and it's used by psychoanalysts around the world, and it's called the Big Five. And what they're looking for is, it's broken up into openness, agreeableness, conscientiousness, extroversion, and neuroticism.
Okay.
And what they do is, after research was released showing that certain personality traits can be tricked, or at least tracked in eye movement, scientists from Australia and Germany, they've teamed up to develop an AI that was capable of measuring and documenting these movements.
Wow.
And what's quite cool is the program was able to successfully predict the personalities of 42 students in 4 out of the 5 dimensions. The only one that they weren't able to track was openness. But soon, AI can be used to track your personality through your eye movements.
Ooh, that's scary.
Well, they always say, isn't there a saying along the lines about to see, you know, through someone's eyes you can see their soul?
Yeah, the eyes are the window to the world, something
there
like that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Something along those
I feel like this
lines.
camera is doing something weird right now. I don't want it to focus on me. Take away the camera. Anyway, those are some of the exciting news that we have picked up on in the world of technology. Share your thoughts with us on the stories that have caught your attention with us on social media. And when you do so, please use hashtag Expresso Show so we can click and follow, you know what I mean? That's how it works in social media.
In the national news, South Africa's official unemployment rate increased by 0.5% to 27.2% in the second quarter of 2018, up from 26.7% in the first 3 months of the year. Social Security Agency, SASSA, has warned grant beneficiaries who have the new gold card that they can't be used at cash pay points for at least 2 months. However, the agency says they can be used at ATMs, post offices and merchant stores. On the international front, Zimbabwe's government warned election candidates yesterday that they could face prosecution and jail sentences for prematurely announcing results of landmark polls after the main opposition MDC party said that it had won. Full results will only be due on Saturday. And then finally, North Korea appears to be building new ballistic missiles despite the recent warming of ties with the Trump administration and pledges to denuclearize. Unnamed US officials said that spy satellites had spotted continuing activity at a site that has produced ballistic missiles. Well, that was your 6:30 news update. I'll have a full bulletin for you at the top of the hour.
Well, here's a quick look at the scoreboard this morning. The Proteas are back in action against Sri Lanka as they take on the team in the second ODI of the 5-match series. And of course, they hold a 1-0 lead right now after standout performances from Tabray's Shamsi Kagiso-Rabada and JP Dumini helped them to a 5-wicket win in the very first ODI. And today's match gets underway at the Rangiri Dambula Stadium in Sri Lanka at 11 o'clock South African time. Taking a look at soccer news, Kaizer Chiefs, they have a new head coach in Giovanni Solinas, who can officially start to take on the reins in full charge of the club after receiving his permit yesterday. Now, Solinas confirmed he was confirmed as the Chiefs coach manager on the 13th of July, but he hasn't been able to, of course, lead the team in pre-season matches as a result of him not having the official paperwork. Now, he'll be taking on the reins as coach when Chiefs open up their season against Mamelodi Sundowns this coming Saturday. And then finally, former world number 1 Andy Murray marked his return to the hard court with a comeback victory over Mackenzie McDonald at the City Open in Washington, D.C. yesterday. And in his first hardcourt game in 17 months, Murray battled back after losing the first set to eventually see out the 3-6, 6-4, 7-5 round 1 win in 2 hours and 37 minutes. And elsewhere, there were also day 2 wins for Naomi Osaka, Sloane Stephens and Noah Ribbon. And that's a roundup of the sporting headlines.
Well, let's take a first look at your roads in Gauteng, Pretoria North. There's reports of a serious accident involving a pedestrian, and this is on Mapopane Highway East, just after the Bremer off-ramp, and it's causing heavy delays, so please allow for some extra travel time this morning. I'll bring you another update in half an hour.
More than a club, more than an appliance brand. Defy.
Alright, kom ons kyk vinnig weer na jou weer. Dis vroeg op jou woensdagoggend this morning, and it looks like maximum or warmer maximums can be expected in the Gauteng province going into your Wednesday. Cooler temperatures along the coast this morning, and also some rainfall expected for Cape Town and Worcester today as well. Polokwane today 9 minimum with a maximum 26 degrees. Mbombela on a 10 and a high of 33. Pretoria 8:24. Johannesburg 7:23. Mahikeng 7:27. Klerksdorp 4 minimum this morning with a maximum 26. Kimberley 2:22. Bloemfontein -1 and a high of 21. Richards Bay 16 minimum this morning with a maximum 25. Pietermaritzburg 6:24. Durban 16:22. Mthatha starting off on 4 minimum, your maximum 21. East London 11 and a high of 21 degrees. Cradock 1:19. Port Elizabeth 10 and a high of 19 degrees. George 8:18. Sutherland -1 and a high of 11 degrees. Nice and cool today. Cape Town 9:17. Worcester 4:15. Springboks 3:16. And Uppington starting off on 3 minimum with a maximum of 20. As a wrap of your weather and your temperatures for the 6:30 bulletin, I'll have another update for you coming your way just after 7 o'clock.
Well, time for us to head to the socials this morning. The hashtag Wednesday Wisdom is currently what's trending. Jeff Cohen says a winning mindset views challenges as opportunities, uses failures to learn and grow, sees criticism as motivation, sets audacious goals and knows effort beats talent and is in it to win it every single time. If you're looking for some motivation, this is where you need to come. Young Scientist says you cannot become what you want by remaining who you are. To excel, you need to avoid gossip, negativity, excuses, and lying. Hashtag Wednesday Wisdom. Let's see if we can get in one more. Sumit says, hashtag Wednesday Wisdom. I was smiling yesterday, I'm smiling today, and I will smile tomorrow, simply because life is too short to cry for anything. Definitely some wisdom coming out here. So if you need a little bit of a pick-me-upper this morning, other than your feel-good breakfast show, you can come and check out hashtag Wednesday Wisdom.
Thank you very much, Leanne. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we continue to celebrate the start of Women's Month with our favorite Women Crush Wednesday performances. And Zahara will be performing Umfazi.
Oh, can't wait for that. And then we continue our parenting chat. This morning, we're also going to get some practical tips on how to manage co-parenting, something you do not want to miss out on. We'll see you after the break.
After weeks of grueling challenges, heartbreak and bloopers, our top 6 find themselves on the spectacular La Réunion. And with so much to offer on this island, it proves to be the perfect spot to give them each one last shot to film a segment, hopefully impressing the judges.
Catch the nail-biting grand finale on Thursday evening at 7:30. 3 winners, 3 new faces for SABC3. The stage is yours.
Enjoy a moment in between with McCafe.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. That tune means one thing only, time for us to catch up with what our local stars have been up to in entertainment news.
Well, singer Cece on Monday announced that she has been found not guilty of assault charges that were laid against her by ex-boyfriend Arthur Mafokati. Now, a statement from the Muso's lawyer reads, "Today, our client was found not guilty and has simply been exonerated from the pool of lies which were leveled against her by the complainant, Arthur Mafokati." Now, sharing the statement on her social media, Cece wrote that after months of being defamed and lies being perpetuated, she said she stood her ground and stuck to my truth. This is, however, just the tip of the iceberg. She says, "I hope her willingness to stand up for herself encourages others to do the same." Now, Cece and Arthur's legal battle started in 2017 when the singer spoke out about an alleged violent altercation between the two of them, which resulted in her suffering injuries that included a broken pelvis. Now, in Women's Month, I hope that those who suffer from domestic abuse will come forward and let those who want to help them help. So definitely a big victory for her in this situation as well.
A big victory, and it's also nice that she can now finally close this chapter and move on. Dealing with the court is never an easy thing. It's always a lengthy process. Yeah. So I'm happy that this is finally closed.
Exactly. I love that. Well, Terry Peto is another woman who I love as well, and she is flaunting a very wide smile as cover girl for the latest issue of Get It magazine. Now, the actress looks flawless in a black and a white printed dress with statement neck piece and beautiful green head wrap. Terry Peto, highs, lows, lessons and blessings. Yeah. That is what the cover reads. And this is not the only magazine the star has taken on in 2018. In April, she was the face of the inaugural cover of Mosaic magazine. And in June, she also took our breath away as the cover star for Marie Claire. So doing the most.
She is incredible. I'm happy she's getting all these covers.
Do it.
Put it out there.
Nice.
This is great local entertainment news. Naturally, we'll keep you updated with what our international stars have been up to, and that's coming your way a little bit later. But it's time for us to get back to our parenting advice.
Indeed, and we're hanging out with certified parenting coach Laura Markovitz, and we're talking about the difficulties of co-parenting and how to do it right. And we left the conversation last time wanting to hear some tips from Laura about what to do when you want to co-parent to the best of your ability to benefit the child. So, what tips can you share with us?
Yeah, so I'd say first of all, you've got to manage yourself. You've got to make sure that you've actually got an adult outlet for the emotions that you're experiencing because it's hard, so that it's not left to the kids to be managing that. So first of all, to make sure that you as the adult have that kind of support. And then for the kids, to make sure that you're employing empathy for them. So things like, and it's very hard, so I don't sugarcoat this for a second, because you're dealing with somebody that you're feeling very angry and might have bitterness and resentment for and all of that. But to help the kids manage it is to remember to be empathic for them as well. So that they're able to say, I'm missing dad, or I'm missing mom, and that you're able to hold that for them. And then a big thing to think about is helping them to manage the transitions. So the moving from mom's house to dad's house and back again, and how that actually goes on in practice. So, you know, that actual handover period, to remember to manage yourself, that it doesn't become so fraught, that the kids are having to hold all the stuff when they're moving between mom and dad. And things, very practical things like clothes and your special things. Kids generally are not known for their huge organizational skills. So to remember that, and now they've got this massive change and these big challenges of moving between homes. So to try and simplify that, to try and help them think through how to move things from one home to the other so that they're not feeling completely uncontained and that things feel literally all over the place. So to really help them think through those sorts of things and how to manage them.
Yeah, look, there's a lot, I think, to consider with regards to this type of situation, but I think at the core, it really is what you said earlier on, all about the child and making that child feel as comfortable and as loved as possible. What are some of the taboos to co-parenting? I mean, what does bad co-parenting look like?
Yeah, so bad co-parenting really is using that space to badmouth your spouse, to use it to actually try and turn your kids against each other, to use them as that sort of stomping ground. Yeah, exactly, and use it in a vengeful way. also to use them to get messages between the parents. So a big thing to remember is how you're communicating, and to find a way, if communicating is, and generally if you're separating and getting divorced, communication is probably something you are struggling with. But now you still have to parent together. So to find a way that you are able to communicate. For some, face-to-face communication might be absolutely explosive. For others, emails and texts might be a crazy way to communicate. So to really find the way that's going to be the best, most succinct way so that you can hold kids and that you're not making this the most difficult thing for them to go through.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much for us to discuss, and of course you can go to coachparents.coza to find more information. I want to ask about co-parenting a stepchild and how the dynamic might differ there, because you're coming into an environment where that is not necessarily your child, although you're trying to form a nucleus where you are part of the family of this child, yet there is an external influence.
So absolutely, and I think that's a topic in and of itself, because having to deal with blended families is a reality, because not only are you now having to co-parent between two families, you've got new kids on the block, and how to manage the dynamics. So suffice it to say that it's a difficult relationship, and to really think through and tread through the steps carefully. You know, not to, my biggest advice around it would be find ways to connect as with your stepkids, and not in a way that you're trying too hard and too crazily, but in a gentle way so that you can build a relationship with them.
And before we go, how important is it for the natural parent to connect with the step-parent in order to make sure that there's harmony there, so that there's no unnecessary strife caused?
So, you know, I'd say there's no textbook, you know, on the perfect situation in terms of going post-divorce. Every family is different. And some families are able to do just that and have a healthy relationship with their ex and are able to communicate, and that's great. And obviously that's sort of first prize stuff. But sometimes that's not possible. And sometimes we cannot do that. So it's really assessing the family as they go and finding ways that even if it is a high conflict situation, that high conflict stuff stays with the parents and not with the kids.
That's the most important.
And I mean, if you come from a point of respect and communication and just management, I think then you should be fine, just in terms of how I think of it. But it is a complicated subject. We would love to know if you have any thoughts that may be words of wisdom that you can share with some of our viewers this morning. Please do so on our Facebook and social media pages using that hashtag Expresso Show.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
At Expresso have chosen to be a part of making a difference in the lives of children with cancer. And every day CHOC supports brave young kids and families battle cancer. The Childhood Cancer Foundation aims to provide patients and loved ones access to relevant information as well as emotional and practical support.
And we would love for you to get involved and help raise funds for CHOC's newest home in Pretoria. Now, SnapScan makes it easy for our Expresso family to donate, and all you need to do is download the app, scan the CHOC Pretoria Home QR code and donate.
The SnapScan QR code will be visible on screen for the next hour, available for you to scan on your screen and help us make a difference.
And for more information, you can always visit the Expresso website. That's expressoshow.com.
Every day that brave young kids and their families battle cancer, the CHOC Childhood Cancer Foundation supports them. And here at Expresso, we'd love you to help us fund their newest CHOC home in Pretoria. SnapScan makes it easy to donate. Download the app, scan the code and donate. For more details, visit the Expresso website.
Well, we're going to be taking a very quick break. Don't go back. It is the start of Women's Month. Can you believe it? The 1st of August already. And what we're going to be doing this morning with regards to our musical performances, we're going to take a look back at some of those inspirational women that graced our studio. Zahara, she is up next, and she is phenomenal.
Absolutely. You know what was also phenomenal? I keep saying it, I said it yesterday. This dude's timeline on Instagram. Some video, man. This guy putting his dance moves to the test. And some of you have said you want to see it. In fact, a lot of you have said you want to see it.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
We're going to show you what he gets up to when these cameras go off. The Expresso family is about to get a whole lot bigger. Meet your brand new presenter on Monday, the 6th of August.
After thousands of aspiring TV stars from across the country stood in line to audition, only one of the winners will step into the spotlight on your feel-good breakfast show.
Catch the nail-biting grand finale this Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m.
3 winners, 3 new faces for SABC3.
The stage is yours.
After weeks of grueling challenges, heartbreak and bloopers, our top 6 find themselves on the spectacular La Réunion. And with so much to offer on this island, it proves to be the perfect spot to give them each one last shot to film a segment, hopefully impressing the judges.
Catch the nail-biting grand finale on Thursday evening at 7:30. 3 winners, 3 new faces for SABC3. The stage is yours.
Enjoy a moment in between with McCafe.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. I hope that your lounge or wherever it is that you're enjoying your coffee sounded like that. Is it?
I'm sitting on crumbs.
Okay, right now it's time for us to check out those interesting, funny and random things that we've stumbled across on social media and hopefully put a smile on your dial. What we got, guys?
Yes, okay, I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first.
Dog steals GoPro. All right, that's the first story.
That's a good.
Listen, we love GoPros. They're a lot of fun, attaching them all different kind of things, you know. But this dog thought it's interesting as well, and he took it for a spin around the garden.
Owner in the background.
And it went absolutely viral on social media. We just love it. Obviously, very playful.
So cool. Oh wow.
Now you know where a dog looks when it runs.
Yeah, look at the ears flapping.
Look at the friends in the background. Okay. Do they find you?
Living his best life.
Here they come. Let's run again.
That is so cool.
That is brilliant. No wonder it went
really
viral.
Cool.
All around the house.
Well, talking about dogs, it seems like dogs also want to get involved in the hashtag In My Feelings challenge. Now, this little doggy decided to do it. Let's check out how the dog interpreted the moves and, of course, how the human version compares.
Do you love me?
Where's the music?
Hey!
Oh, no way.
Oh.
Yes, man.
Oh.
No ways.
Come on.
Do you love me?
Are you riding?
Wow, that is amazing.
Do you think they dangled a treat in front of him?
Somebody's on the roof of the car.
No, I think the dog just watched every single version and wanted to do it as well. That's pretty cool. Okay?
Did you see how people do it when they're broke, when they can't afford to do the In My Feelings challenge?
I saw that. They had a car door.
I'll show it to you.
Yeah,
on
we'll have to
Instagram.
show it on our next What's Trending video. And then, you know what, our very own Ewan straight off and his gorgeous
here comes
wife.
the embarrassment.
They've also got their own little dance challenge, and it was the kids that challenged
What
you
happened?
to this dance-off,
So,
right?
okay, so basically, my boy, he's 5, and he's into this new kiddie kind of series, stories or whatever, and they've got this made-up band on the show, and he loves this song, and they're like, well, let's do a dance-off to the song. So you go first, and then he's like, but then you must go as well. So he actually filmed it. So, and they were like, we'll show you.
That's adorable.
Okay.
So
You know, what I just noticed from watching this video,
what did you
I've just noticed your go-to move.
I have a go-to move.
So if you now go in our history and you watch all of our Friday dance-off videos, most of them, this is Ewan's go-to move.
Is it the...
You know, there's the people do like the bite down. Yeah. Yours is the cowboy here, and it's here.
Yeah, I know.
This is your go-to. This is Ewan.
I'll tell you why that is, though.
This is Ewan.
Because I've been told that I've got hips like concrete, and I needed to loosen them up.
So you need to grind them out.
So this is years
But you know, but why like Magic Mike vibes?
No, that's for real Magic Mike.
That's exactly what it is. It's Magic Mike.
This is Ewan, guys. This is Ewan's go-to move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Magic Mike 3 up in here. This is a family show.
So anyway, so the whole point of that was to embarrass my boys one day, to say like, listen, Mom and Dad, we got this. We got this. We're gonna show you how to dance.
I love it, man. I love it. Anyway, so those are some of the hashtags, videos, and stories that have caught our attention. Share yours with us online on our Facebook page and on Twitter using hashtag Expresso Show. Now, as we begin Women's Month, we are taking it upon ourselves to celebrate with some of our favorite performances over the years, where we featured some of South Africa's most prolific women in music, and the first of which is a lady who's won some 17 Samas. She's been nominated multiple times. She's a singer, she's a songwriter and a guitarist. Her name Zahara, and here she is when she performed Umfazi.
Of a woman comes from within. You may get it down today. She'll surely come around. Strength of a woman comes from within. You can get it down today. She will surely come around.
wonderful way to start off Women's Month as we remember one of the stars that's graced the stage here on our Feel Good Breakfast show. Thank you very much, Zahara, for sharing your music with us. We'll continue to do so a little bit later on, sharing more music with hashtag WCW today. Right now, it's time for the morning headlines.
In your national news, the official unemployment rate increased by 0.5% to 27.2% in the second quarter of 2018. This is up from 26.7% in the first 3 months of the year. Statistician General Risenga Maluleka released the quarterly labour force survey for April, May and June in Pretoria yesterday. The increase in the unemployment rate was due to a decline of 90,000 people in employment, as well as an increase of 102,000 people who became unemployed. Additionally, the number of discouraged job seekers rose to 2.9 million between the first and second quarters of 2018. Social Security Agency known as SASSA has warned grant beneficiaries who have the new gold card that they can't be used at cash pay points for at least 2 months. However, the agency says they can be used at ATMs, post offices and merchant stores. Earlier system glitches affected 700,000 of the 12 million beneficiaries who hold the new gold card. SASSA spokesperson Paseka Letsatsi said together with the SA Post Office, they have been working 24 hours around the clock to ensure the system is up and running. Now moving further abroad, Zimbabwe's government warned election candidates yesterday that they could face prosecution and jail sentences for prematurely announcing results of landmark polls after the main opposition MDC party said that it had won. The Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, known as the ZEC, results for the presidential candidate will only be released once counting has been completed in over 10,000 polling stations across the country. The ZEC's chair, Priscilla Chikunga, says no rigging or cheating has been detected. The estimated voting turnout was around 75%. Full results are only due on Saturday. And then finally, North Korea appears to be building new ballistic missiles despite the recent warming of ties with the Trump administration and pledges to denuclearize. Unnamed US officials said that spy satellites had spotted continuing activities at a site that has produced ballistic missiles. Donald Trump met North Korea's Kim Jong-un in Singapore in June, and the two men pledged to work towards denuclearization. Trump later said North Korea was no longer a nuclear threat. However, he was criticized at home for making concessions without securing any firm commitment from Kim. Well, that was your 7 o'clock news update. Time for another look at what's happening in the world of sport with Kat.
Well, here's a quick look at the scoreboards. The Proteas are back in action today as they take on Sri Lanka in the second ODI of their 5-match series. South Africa already hold a 1-0 lead after standout performances from Tabrai's Shamsi, Kagiso Rabada and JP Dumini helped guide the team to a 5-wicket win in their first ODI. Today's match gets underway at the Rangiri Dambula Stadium in Sri Lanka at 11 a.m. South African time. Moving on, Kaizer Chiefs' new head coach Giovanni Solinas can officially start his reign in charge of the club after receiving his work permit yesterday. Solinas was confirmed as the new head coach of Chiefs on the 13th of July, but he wasn't able to lead the team in pre-season matches without the official paperwork. Now, Solinas will be pitch side for Kaizer Chiefs' opening PSL game as they tackle Mamelodi Sundowns on Saturday. And finally, former world #1 Andy Murray marked his return to the hard court with a comeback victory over Mackenzie McDonald at the City Open in Washington, D.C. yesterday. In his first hard court game in 17 months, Murray battled back after losing the first set to eventually see out the 3-6, 6-4, 7-5 round 1 win in 2 hours and 37 minutes. Elsewhere, there were day 2 wins for Naomi Osaka, Sloane Stephens and Noah Rubin. And that's a roundup of the sports headlines.
Well, let's take another look at the roads in Gauteng and Highveld. There's been an accident, and this is on the N1 southbound at the Brakfontein interchange and is currently blocking that right lane, causing heavy delays. I'll have another update for you in half an hour.
Don't fear the flu. Boost your immune system with Effaflu C Immune Booster by Pharmadynamics. Effective, affordable healthcare.
Let's quickly take another look at your weather and your temperatures going into your Wednesday morning, and it looks like Gauteng can expect some warmer weather going into your Wednesday, but cooler along the coast with temperatures dropping, and also some rain expected for Cape Town and Worcester for your Wednesday, which we're very happy about. Polokwane this morning 9 minimum with a maximum 26, Mbombela 10 and a high of 33, Pretoria 8 to 24, Johannesburg 7:23, Mahikeng starting off on 7 minimum with a maximum 27. Klerksdorp 4 this morning, warming up to 26 degrees, nice and warm. Kimberley on 2 minimum, your maximum 22. Bloemfontein -2 this morning, nice and cold, but then warming up to 21 later on today. Richards Bay 16:25, Pietermaritzburg 6:24, Durban 16:22, Mthatha on 4 minimum, your maximum 21, East London 11:21, Cradock 1 minimum this morning with a maximum 19 degrees, Port Elizabeth 10:19 as well, George 8:18, Sutherland staying cold today, -1 minimum with a cool maximum of 11, Cape Town 9:17 with some scattered showers, Worcester 4 minimum with a maximum 15 degrees, staying cool also with a couple of scattered showers expected, and Springbok 3:16, Uppington 3 minimum this morning, warming up to 20 degrees Celsius. That's a wrap of your weather and your temperatures for your 7 o'clock bulletin. I'll be back in half an hour's time with another update.
It's time for us to check out what's happening with our emoji charades game that we played this morning. Now, your clues were that it is a song. There are 5 words in the title. There's a girl going like that, and there's a tear emoji, a crying emoji. And the clue that we gave you was this is the first song that this artist recorded after the Manchester Arena bombings, and hopes that it brings light and calm to her fans. Were you able to figure out who our emoji charades game was about today? I'm going to go with the very first person, Monde Makanya, No Tears Left to Cry by Ariana Grande. Absolutely amazing song with an incredible message as well. Well done to everybody, because why? You all got it right.
All right, so we at Expresso are helping to keep More Than Hope alive by supporting CHOC and in their effort to acquire a brand new CHOC children's home in Pretoria. And you can do the same by downloading SnapScan and scanning the QR code that Zoe's pointing to. Point to it again. There. Are you getting it? No, you got to go up higher. There it is in the corner. So you got to do is SnapScan that and then make your donation. We would appreciate it very, very much if you would help us in supporting this very worthy cause.
And it's a very quick and easy way to donate. But we're about to take a quick break, and when we get back, we want to make sure you stay healthy, and it's all about looking after your immune system.
And then also helping you keep deliciously healthy too, making a lovely recipe in the kitchen. Fish chowder. I've always been a fan of chowder. Oh, look at it. It's already made. I'm going to the kitchen to get some during this ad break. Okay, bye.
It's tough getting up in the morning. That's why for breakfast, I'm making eggs Benedict. Get it? I just love a good food pun. Share your photo and recipe of your favorite winter dish with the hashtag #ForTheLoveOfWinter, and you could win 5,000 Rand in weekly prizes and stand a chance to win a grand prize of 100,000 Rand. Rhodes quality for the love of winter.
Rise and shine with your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, right here on SABC3. So good to be hanging out with you on your Wednesday morning. Now, I recently had the most incredible trip to Switzerland to find out all about the Echinacea plant and how this works to treat and prevent colds and flu in the form of Vogel's Echinacea. Now, we had it on the show as well. I'm sure you are familiar with it by now, but I've gained a wealth of knowledge while I was over there on how to look after our immune systems and be ahead of the colds and flus this winter. Now, this morning we are taking over the show and highlighting the rich properties of the Echinacea plant. We have homeopath Dr. David Naude with us this morning to tell us everything we need to know. Dr. David, thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to be here.
So for the viewers out there, we were in Switzerland together. You were there as well, and what an incredible experience, man. I mean, obviously you being a homeopath, you kind of knew what we were getting into. Me as somebody as a newbie, I mean, it was incredible. I was absolutely blown away by what we've learned, and this is what we are here talking about this morning. But firstly, as a homeopath, David, what exactly is homeopathy? Because I don't think maybe people understand it correctly.
Well, homeopathy, there are a lot of misconceptions, but essentially homeopathy stems right back to 1796. Samuel Hahnemann was a German physician at the time, and he discovered and formulated homeopathy. And since then, it's grown exponentially. The World Health Organization even says that homeopathy is the second largest system of medicine in the world. Over 200 million people use it on a regular basis. And in South Africa, we have a strong profession of homeopathy. It's small, about 600 practitioners, but the profession of homeopathy is legally endorsed and recognized by the Department of Health. And a homeopath essentially prescribes homeopathic remedies instead of orthodox drugs. But interestingly, our scope of practice is as wide as a general practitioner. So we treat all the conditions that your general practitioner would usually address, except using homeopathic remedies.
And I love that. I mean, there's a lot of studies as well that's been done on natural medicine. We're going to get into that as well. But there's been a lot of talk nowadays surrounding natural remedies, your Echinacea, your natural kind of medicines as opposed to your allopathic or your pharma products as well. Why do you think there is such a drive towards that now specifically? And also, if you take a look at these type of products, I mean, how does it act in your body differently to what your conventional medicines would?
Well, most natural products work or are aimed at addressing the root cause of the illness. They work with the body in establishing a balance and getting the body back into a state of homeostasis, using the immune system and other mechanisms. So they don't actually force the body into doing anything, and they don't suppress any symptoms. So that's generally the thinking behind most natural products.
And I think that is also what people tend to lean towards, is kind of suppressing the symptoms, because you don't want to feel sick, you know, but you're not necessarily addressing the cause, like you are saying.
Absolutely.
Now today we are talking quite a bit about Echinacea that we've introduced to our viewers over the past while as well. But the key ingredient, the Echinacea plant, it is a magnificent plant. We had the opportunity to see it there in Switzerland as well. But what makes it so special?
Well, there is so much evidence that we have now that proves that the Echinacea plant has antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory properties. And what a lot of people don't realize is, for example, when you have a respiratory tract infection, almost all the symptoms you get are actually because of the inflammation and not because of the actual virus.
Oh, really?
So Echinacea is actually uniquely placed in that it not only kills viruses, but it also inhibits or prevents the inflammation that they cause. So it's quite well placed as a product for respiratory tract infections. What's also quite interesting, and research has proven this, is that viruses find it very difficult to become resistant to Echinacea, whereas they easily become resistant to other existing antivirals. So it's quite unique in that way as well.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely something that we can focus on, is because the body getting used to medicines, and this is the one thing that sets, I think, Echinacea specifically apart from other natural remedies as well out there. Dr. David, thank you very much for joining us. You are not done yet, my friend. You're not done yet. We're just getting started. After the break, we will be busting some myths as well around colds and flus, and then a little later on today, we'll discuss that big breakthrough study that we've been telling you about.
Vogel's Echinacea is the world's strongest herbal product that's clinically proven to prevent and treat colds, flu, and their complications.
So it's like almost like 7:15 and you're rushing and you're thinking, what am I going to cook tonight for the family? Don't worry, we got you.
Introducing Clover Care, the first enriched milk packed with nutrients to help you take extra care of your whole family.
Made with love by Clover.
So when it comes to putting your health first, it's all about starting with the right foods and getting the right kinds of nutrients. So today's recipe is a hearty meal, the Clover Care fish chowder, and it's loaded with essential nutrients for the entire family. And this velvety chowder with Clover Care milk, classic flavor, it has a classic flavor that you can customize for your family, depending on their favorite fish or their seafood. And it's very simple, it's quick, and it's super tasty. And of course, don't forget that crusty loaf of bread that you're going to just be using to dip into that sauce, into that broth to get the most out of it. Zoe's taking the reins in the kitchen.
I'm taking the reins. I've got the
excited.
apron on because
Yes.
that's how easy this recipe is. The producers even checked, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do this? So we've got our pot on and it's really easy. We're going to add some butter to the pot. There we go. And we're going to let that melt a little bit. And at the same time, we're going to add our leeks.
Okay.
So instead of onions, we're using leeks this morning.
But you could use onions if you like to as well, hey?
I suppose, yes.
Yeah.
And then we're going to add
profile.
some garlic. And our sweet potato cubes. And it's great to keep these nice and small pieces.
Yeah.
It will cook easier because you want your potatoes to be cooked properly. So we're going to let that saute for a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go. Let the butter melt.
For me, a chowder is one of the best winter meals ever. When you, because it's almost like a mixture of a stew and a soup in one. That's what I love about it.
Dipping bread.
One of my favorite other moms, Cece, I bet she's watching as well, used to make this clam chowder during winter. Oh my word, it was amazing. I still have dreams of making it myself one day, but I haven't been brave enough. She shared the recipe, but this is an easy one. Hers is a lot more complicated. Okay.
This is the easy one. So we're going to add a little bit of flour, and this is our thickening agent for our chowder sauce. And then, of course, our hero ingredient is the Clover Care milk that's been enriched with extra nutrients. So we're going to add about 1.5 cups.
Yeah.
And that's only because we're making half the recipe.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Right. Speaking of the recipe, you at home can SMS the keyword Clover to 33728 and we'll send you the link to the recipe as well as the ingredients list so you can make an even bigger batch for the family. But like you said, yes, our hero ingredient, Clover Care, the first enriched milk in the market in South Africa, and it's enriched with, it's high in vitamins and nutrients that are needed for the whole family. Then, of course, it's also supported by the National Osteoporosis Foundation of South Africa because it is so great for your family.
That is right. So, okay, cool. So now that's going to thicken up, but we're going to add, in the meantime, our corn. There we go, our corn. And then our fish chunks, which we're obviously using hake today.
Yes.
And then I've been instructed not to stir it too much because you don't want your hake pieces to break up.
That's true.
So I'm going to add that in, and you add it in raw because it's going to cook in the sauce. There we go.
See, now the wonderful thing is that you've added corn, but you could also add things like peas, like carrots, because it cooks like a stew. You know?
Yes. And
beans that have already that come out of the can. Just be creative with it. And for me, the more colourful a chowder is, the better.
There we go. Well, I feel like that's very colourful. We're going to let it cook over a medium heat. And I've seasoned it with some salt and pepper, but we do have a little bit of a recap in case my instructions weren't clear enough.
Have a hearty meal on the table this week with this easy Clover Care fish chowder loaded with essential nutrients for the whole family. It's simple, quick, and oh so tasty. For this recipe, you'll need 3 cups Clover Care milk, 50-gram clover butter, 2 sliced leeks, 2 chopped cloves of garlic, 2 tablespoons flour, 500-gram cubed haked fillets, 200-gram corn kernels, salt and pepper, a handful of chopped chives, and 2 cubed sweet potatoes. Melt your clover butter in a pan. Add sliced leeks and fry until softened. Add chopped garlic and sweet potato. Fry until softened. Then add the flour and stir to combine. Next, add your Clover Care milk and stir until the mixture thickens. Add corn kernels and season with salt and pepper. Add the hake fillets and stir until the fish is cooked through. Sprinkle over chopped chives and enjoy. This velvety Clover Care fish chowder is ready to customize with your family's favorite fish or seafood. Don't forget a loaf of crusty bread to soak up the delicious broth.
Made with love by Clover.
So SMS Clover to 33728 and you can make your own Clover Care fish chowder at home.
ideal. And it's so, how quick was that?
That was quick and easy. I feel like there was something about the apron that felt like a little bit of a cake. Okay, so you have to try it.
Yes.
Naturally, we waited until our potatoes are nice and soft, and then our fish will also be cooked through.
See, that's how you know Zoe's not a chowder chower. Like, you literally just took a little bit of the broth.
I took it
when you taste the
it's
chowder,
delicious.
you have to get the sweet
creamy.
potato, you've got to get the fish, and the, you know, serve it up with some dill.
You're just
and,
hungry. There we go. Well, our keyword for you, if you'd love to have the link and the recipe sent directly to your phone, is Clover to 33728. Just like a
That's
little
a
piece.
good chowder. Wow. I'm impressed.
Introducing Clover Care, the first enriched milk packed with nutrients to help you take extra care of your whole family.
Made with love by Clover.
Looks delicious.
So yummy.
Absolutely delicious. When Kat gets his tasting face on, then you know there's deep thoughts going on in there. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're back with Dr. David Naude this morning, busting some myths around colds and flus.
Exactly, and then we're also going to bring you a little bit of a PSL preview. It's going to be absolutely amazing. All that more coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Enjoy a moment in between with McCafe. See you after the break.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. You're tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, right here on SABC3. Now, this morning, we are putting the spotlight on our immune systems and getting a better understanding of how the Echinacea plant can assist in getting ahead of those nasty colds and flus. Now, back with us, Dr. David Naude, where we focus on the myths we tell about colds and flus, and we need to unpack them. But before we delve into that, we need to start at the very beginning. Now, I chatted to Dr. Andy Suter, head of the medical department and product development for Bioforce, all the way in Switzerland, to find out.
It all starts with a virus. Somewhere there's this very small particle of a virus that you have in the majority on your hand, and then you touch yourself, because we touch all the time our faces. You come to your nose, for example, and then the infection starts. You know, the virus nests in your mucous membrane here, and then it starts to replicate. And afterwards, you have then the whole inflammatory response. This is the response from your immune system to get rid of the virus. So all the symptoms you have, like sneezing and what have you, that's the answer from your immune system. You are doing this, not the virus itself. stuff. And then what the virus does, if this is the virus, you have on the cells a receptor, and the virus attaches this to the receptor, and like this, it enters the cell, and it uses the cell like a copy machine for itself, and out come new viruses. Now, what these viruses are doing, they are infecting again cells and cells and again. It's like a chain reaction. Now, what Echinaforce can do, it really can block this connection here to the receptor, and therefore the virus cannot block here, and it is swimming around, and then it gets destroyed.
We share exactly the same viruses in South Africa and in Switzerland. People are traveling, people are flying long-haul flights, and they share their viruses worldwide. So there is no difference regarding the bugs that produce the colds and flu. On the other side, we have exactly the same problems, I guess, in South Africa. You have too much stress, your nutrition might be better, and you're certainly not having enough sleep. So in principle, we're facing exactly the same problem. It is also important to know that we have carried out our clinical studies internationally. It's not just that we are testing our products in the Swiss people. We are doing international clinical trials. And this is important to show that Echinaforce is working worldwide in the same way.
Very interesting indeed, Dr. David. Thank you very much. Welcome back once again. So there we have it. So we gain a little bit of an understanding as to how exactly Echinaforce acts within the body and helps to kind of repel those viruses that enters our mucous membranes. But let's talk about this. Busting some myths. Colds versus flus. What's the real difference here? Is there a real difference, actually?
Well, look, they're both caused by viruses, but different viruses. And I think a lot of time when people say, I had the flu, they probably just had a cold, or what we call a head cold.
It's more heavy hitting to say I've got the flu.
Exactly. Particularly when you need a day off work. But,
exactly.
But the thing is, there are some shared symptoms. So runny nose, sore throat, congestion, bit of cough. But typically flu or influenza is characterized by fever, chills, body aches and pains, that hypersensitive skin that people get as well. That's more suggestive of an influenza, a true influenza infection, which lasts longer and the symptoms are more intense.
Yeah, and I mean, if you really take a look at it, I mean, if you've gone out there and you all experienced the colds and the flu, at some stage in our lives, and there's a big difference, especially when you say when the sensitivity of the skin and the back ache, the back pain starting as well. Now, here's a question. Do we all suffer from the same kind of stresses and symptoms all around the world? Is the virus kind of the same thing with regards to colds and flus?
Yeah, I think generally you can say it is. I think we all experience similar symptoms, particularly with an influenza, the aches and pains and the fever, congestion, respiratory tract inflammation. But there are some exceptions. For example, an asthmatic child. If an asthmatic child gets a cold, typically their asthma flares up, so they get wheezy, tight-chested, and they're more vulnerable to getting a lower respiratory tract infection. Okay. So in your more vulnerable groups, there are some exceptions, but generally the symptoms are common throughout.
Besides for men, though, right? It's a little bit worse for men.
Absolutely.
The man flu. Listen, one more quick one. We're trying to bust some myths here, and this is maybe an argument that I think not only I have with my wife, but I think, parents, they have amongst each other. Things like running in the rain. Can it make you sick?
Well, that's obviously a hotly contested topic in your house. I certainly don't run in the rain, not because I'm afraid of getting sick, but I just think it's crazy. But no, seriously, there isn't any evidence that suggests running in the rain would make you get sick. But you do find in winter that flu is more common, and the reason for that is the influenza virus is more stable in a colder temperature.
Right.
And the little droplets of virus in the air are more stable in a dry environment than in a humid environment. I think also in winter we close windows, we sit indoors, we're closer to each other, not enough fresh air, so I mean your risk of infection is particularly higher.
Okay, so there's definitely a couple of reasons why we get sick more often during the colder winter months as opposed to summer. And with regards to some of those myths, I mean, running in winter or not wearing socks, I mean, it takes an actual virus or something to infect you. It's not the temperature or the fact that you're getting wet.
Yeah, absolutely. There has to be an exposure, and that would happen whether you're in the wet or not.
Yeah, and does it come down to maybe also, let's say you take something like running in the rain or cold feet, a weaker immune system that would get you more prone to be sick?
Yeah, look, absolutely. I mean, athletes who, especially endurance athletes, you know, their immune systems are more challenged because their systems are more stressed. So they are slightly more vulnerable than the average person.
Yeah.
So yes, they could pick something up, but it's not because of being in the rain or in the wet. It's just they are at a vulnerable point.
All right, well, there we go. Mythbuster. Thank you very much, Dr. David. We're going to be back with Dr. David in just a little bit more on colds and flus a little bit later on. And we're also going to be revealing the results from that breakthrough study that we've been teasing you about.
A Vogel's Echinacea is the world's strongest herbal product that's clinically proven to prevent and treat colds, flu, and their complications.
Thank you very much, Ewan. We'll be linking up with you a bit later on. Right now, it's time for us to keep you updated with the headlines of the morning, and with the latest, here's Leanne.
Thank you so much, Kat. In the national news this morning, South Africa's official unemployment rate increased by 0.5% to 27.2% in the second quarter of 2018. This is up from 26.7% in the first 3 months of the year. Social Security Agency SASSA has warned grant beneficiaries who have the new gold card that they can't use it as cash pay points for at least 2 months. However, the agency says they can be used at ATM, post offices and merchant stores. On the international front, Zimbabwe's government warned election candidates yesterday that they could face prosecution and jail sentences for prematurely announcing results of landmark polls after the main opposition MDC party said that it had won. Full results are only due on Saturday. And then finally, North Korea appears to be building new ballistic missiles despite the recent warming of ties with the Trump administration, and pledges to denuclearize. Unnamed US officials said the spy satellites had spotted continuing activity at a site that has produced ballistic missiles in the past. Well, that was your 7:30 news update. Here's another look at what's happening in the world of sport.
So a quick look at the scoreboards this morning. The Proteas are back in action today as they take on Sri Lanka in the second ODI of their 5-match series. The game gets underway in Sri Lanka at 11 a.m. South African time. Now, Kaizer Chiefs' new head coach Giovanni Solinas can officially start his reign in charge of the club after receiving his work permit yesterday. And finally, former world number 1 Andy Murray marked his return to hard courts with a comeback victory over Mackenzie McDonald at the City Open in Washington, D.C. yesterday. And that's a wrap-up of the sporting headlines.
Well, let's take another look at the roads in Gauteng and Bedford View. Now, there's been a multi-vehicle accident on the N3 northbound. It's after the Galulis interchange, currently blocking that left lane, and it's causing heavy delays. I'll bring you a final update at 8 o'clock.
Quality fuel, convenience, and service with a smile. Whether it's to fuel up or stock up, Caltex, it's how you get there.
Let's quickly take another look at your weather and your temperatures going into your Wednesday morning. And the Gauteng province can definitely expect warmer temperatures for your Wednesday. Cooler along the coast with some rain expected for Cape Town and Worcester as well. I'll run you through your temperatures. Polokwane 9 minimum this morning with the maximum 26 degrees. Mbombela 10 and a very hot 33 later on today. Pretoria 8:24. Johannesburg 7:23. Mahikeng starting off on 7, reaching a high of 27. Klerksdorp 4:26. Kimberley 2 minimum this morning with the maximum 22 degrees. Bloemfontein -2 and a high of 21. Richards Bay 16:25. Pietermaritzburg 6 and a high of 24. Durban 16:22. Mthatha 4 and a high of 21 degrees. East London 11 with a maximum 21. Cradock 1:19. Port Elizabeth 10 and a high of 19 degrees. George 8:18. Sutherland -1 and a high of 11. Cape Town 9:17 with some rain expected. Also some rain in Worcester today with a minimum of 4 reaching a high of 15. Springbok 3:16 and Uppington on 3 minimum, your maximum 20 degrees Celsius. I'll have a final update for you in terms of your weather just after 8 o'clock.
So the wait is finally over for local football fans as the Premier Soccer League returns this weekend. And with a host of signings happening all over the country, it's sure to be another almighty tightly contested season. And with some fresh new signings of their own and a growing desire for more trophies, Cape Town City are looking stronger than ever. And to chat about their goals for the season, we're joined by Cape Town City's new signings, Peter Leeuwenburgh and Giftlings. Gentlemen, a very good morning to you. Hope the bodies aren't too sore with the pre-season training that you've been taking on, but it's great to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Excellent. So, Gift, take me through your journey with Cape Town City so far. The two of you are two new signings, as I said, to the club. It must be a great privilege to be joining the ranks of Cape Town City.
Yeah, to be honest, it's a great privilege to have joined Cape Town City because it was formed about 2 years ago. But what they have achieved now, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's why I decided to come and join them.
Absolutely.
And I hope things this season will be much better.
Yeah. Have you found yourself settling into the club, finding your place within the team dynamics?
Yeah, I actually do. I just arrived last week on Wednesday and joined the team in Joburg. But it feels already like, I'm here for almost a year now, so I feel like home.
So I guess the most important thing for you as a player, not only fitting into the team dynamics, but is to set your own goals and your own targets for the season. So I'll ask each of you, starting off with you first, Gift. What are some of the goals that you've set for yourself for the season ahead?
Okay, the goals I've set for myself is that I'm still young. I know there are awards at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Young Player of the Season. So I just want to see myself nominated for those awards. So I need to work hard, and for sure I'll work hard. So that even the team, as a team, we need to win trophies.
Absolutely.
At least we get 2 trophies this season. We'll be happy.
Yeah. Peter, what about you?
Yeah, of course, the team is the most important, but my own goal is just to play as many games as possible, and then, it would be lovely if we end up with, what Gift said, a trophy or 2 maybe.
Yeah. What do you think will be some of the tough challenges you'll face playing in the South African context of football? Have you kind of had a look at that and think about that?
Well, it's a bit more physical, I think, than what I used to be. But I like it. And last Saturday we had a great game against Kaizer Chiefs, and then I really enjoyed the game, and I'm really looking forward to play a lot of more games.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've already tuned in your mind to the opposition that you'll be facing throughout the season. You've got Mamelodi Sundowns, who are looking consistently strong. Chiefs and Pirates, of course, with their rivalry upstate or up north. SuperSport United, the likes of those kind of teams. Who are you looking at as your biggest threat coming into the new season, especially where you are right now?
You see, this is football.
Yeah.
Each and every team now is prepared. So you can't be saying this one is not prepared, Sundowns, Chiefs is big. You see teams like Baroka, they always give good effort whenever they play.
Yeah.
So we have to be prepared for each and every game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at those fixtures over there, we saw your opening fixture of the season, Cape Town City versus SuperSport United at home. Of course, there's a lot of pressure to please the home crowd because you want to keep them coming to the stadium every single time that there's a game. How much is that weighing on your mind, and how are you going to approach the game against SuperSport United?
I think we do it the same as every other game. We just prepare well, we train hard, we work hard, we talk about tactical things. The coach prepares us well, and we just have to see it as a normal game. I think, then I think we're gonna win.
Yeah. Well, we certainly hope so. A good start to your season coming up this weekend. Thanks for joining us, gents. We know that, of course, you probably should be on the training ground right now already. The rest of the team is there, but wishing you all the best for the season ahead. And we can't wait to have you guys back here again. Gentlemen, joining us from Cape Town City as the PSL season kicks off this coming weekend.
And we are most certainly going to keep a very, very close eye on it as well. Right now, we are going to be taking a very quick break. When we come back, we are going to be sitting down once again with Dr. David Naude, talking about all those complications around the colds and the flus.
No one wants to be sick right now.
No.
And I can't think of a better way than to kickstart Women's Month. We are going to celebrate women in South Africa, and particularly focusing on the top 50 women in the tech field. We have Bouwer and Bonnie Horbach with us this morning, and we're going to chat to them after the break. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. I hope you filled up those coffee cups. We're about to get into our international entertainment news, and it's always great when one of our local names are mentioned in it.
Absolutely. So the cat's out the bag. Thailand has been announced as the location for the next Miss Universe pageant, the one, of course, of 2018. Now, the new host country was revealed at a press conference held in Bangkok, attended by Miss Universe Organization President Paula Sugart and current title holder Demi-Leigh Now Peters. Of course, South African, proudly South African. Now, it is the third time that Thailand will host the competition, with the last time being back in 2005. And this is also the second time in 3 years that it'll be held in Asia. And the last time was back in Manila, 2016. So the 2018 pageant is scheduled for December the 17th at the Muang Thong Thani complex in Nonthaburi, according to reports. And the Philippines is also fielding Catriona Gray as its bid for the win of the crowd.
You know what? You always, when people have favorites, you need to keep an eye on them, because it's generally the favorites that tend to at least place in the top 5.
Okay, well, Gray has expressed her excitement in competing for the title in Thailand, calling the country one of her favorite travel destinations. And guess who's the host?
Who is the host?
Steve Harvey.
Oh, yes, he is.
He's doing it again.
Is he doing it again?
So excited.
Okay.
I'm so excited. Especially after what happened like 3
years ago, I think.
3 years ago, where people are like, they're never going to book him again. But he's quality. Steve Harvey is quality. And I'm glad that he's going to be hosting it again. It's going to be lots and lots of fun.
And that's also the one where our very own Tamron Green is going to be participating in, because she was chosen as Miss Universe South Africa.
Yes.
So she's competing in Thailand later this year.
Incredible. Well, good luck to her as we look forward to the 17th of December at the Muang Thong Thani complex.
Well, last year, for the first time in South Africa, the Dutch Consulate General teamed up with the International Inspiring 50 organization to give recognition to 50 leading women in technology and innovation. Now, they will be doing so again in 2018, with the finalists being announced on the 9th of August. And today we're being joined by the Consul General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Bonnie Horbach, along with one of the Inspiring 50 judges, respected media powerhouse and businesswoman Carol Bouwer, so we can celebrate these pioneering women. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
It is so good to have you, of course. Carol, we're always welcome to it. And of course, Bonnie, welcome to our show this morning. I love that we are celebrating and just putting women in the field of technology and innovation on this kind of a platform. Bonnie, after last year's platform, did you start seeing any changes in the perception that people had towards women in technology?
Well, I hope so. At least what I saw was that the women amongst themselves had a better network.
Yeah.
So they found each other and they were pushing each other up, which I think was a very nice way of ensuring that we see the women that are already doing brilliant work in this sector.
That's so powerful. Carol, and then in terms of the recipients, did they kind of recognize a marked change in their fields of industry as well?
So I think that was very important. What we wanted to see was a change, not just in the field, but in their own careers, their ability to interact with others, to access networks that they didn't have access to before. So the result is that they're telling us that they're better networked, they're accessing a network beyond South Africa, and I think that, you know, in the STEM fields, that's very, very important. You can't have technology just assist you access people that you could otherwise meet. They have accessed women from the Netherlands and now the UK as well. And I think those networks are not beneficial just to their careers, but for South Africa as well. Yeah.
I think this has been a very male-driven industry for such a long time, so it's so wonderful to see women being, you know, put on the forefront and celebrated and being highlighted as well. What are you hoping this particular platform is going to do for the industry at large?
Well, what I hope is that we see them. We see the women that are already working in these different sectors, and we allow our children, I have a daughter of 8 years old, to see that she also can become an aviation pilot, or is someone in the nuclear energy sector, or someone who starts her own business. Because these women come from all different sectors, and it's amazing to see what they're doing, the changes that they are making, and to allow them to just shine.
Absolutely.
We were just saying how surprising it is if you look at just the diversity of the women, but also what they've done for South Africa so far. It's surprising that we don't know them. So in a way, we would like to bombard you with as many CVs as possible for you to speak to them. South Africans need to see what we really can be if we support it as women, what we can become.
It's so important. And while we're celebrating women that are currently in the industry, we're also looking to empower and inspire young girls in the areas of teen tech and innovation. But I know that the UK division of Inspiring 50 has also kind of jumped onto this. Do you want to tell us more about that?
Well, not only have they jumped onto it, but also what they've done is that they've been quite intentional about ensuring that the youth are well represented. And that's something that you have done very organically. I mean, Bonnie has been a serious paradigm shifter since she's been in South Africa. What's been beautiful about it is that South Africa can also talk about being part of that shift. We have an 18-year-old South African who's already won, at the Google Science Fair. We have, her name is Kiara. You look at the SKA project, how many young women, are a part of that? And we don't talk about that. So it's important that not only do the media begin to talk about it, but those who are part of the innovation, those who are part of the change, they need to come out and tell their stories. They need to avail themselves to tell their stories.
Well, it is Women's Month, so please avail yourself so that we can hear the stories. Thank you so much, Carol. Thank you so much, Bonnie. Absolutely incredible platform. And I can't wait to hear who is going to be making that honours roll on the 9th of August, because that's when the names will be revealed, right?
Well, actually today the names will be revealed, and on the 8th of August we'll have a big celebration for them. So you can go to www.cocreatesa.nl and you will see the whole list of the 50 winners.
Wonderful.
Shall we give one teaser?
Yes. Give us a teaser.
Professor Mamukete is
oh,
one of them.
My goodness. We are here for the teasers. Well, we're going to keep you on speed dial because we definitely want to watch this journey as it unfolds. Thank you so much. Well, there you have it. Expresso would love to give a resounding halala and, of course, warm congratulations to the women being recognized by the Inspiring 50 list. Now, we hope that many young girls and women that are watching right now and even in our country will look to them for inspiration and motivation as we see this industry grow and flourish and as we put these incredible women on this amazing platform.
Well, definitely going to be a very inspirational month, that is for sure. But right now we are back with Dr. David Naude, a homeopath, where we've been busting the myths around colds and flus and also learning about the wonders of the Echinacea plant. Now, as you know, I recently visited Switzerland, the home of Echinacea, to find out how we can all just get ahead of those winter bugs. But here's a question for you. What if you are in the heart of a cold or a flu? How do you prevent it from going over into a secondary infection? That is what we are talking about next. But to get more information, I met up with Dr. Roland Schoop, the medical advisor for A. Vogel Bioforce, and also Dr. Ross Walton, the MD of Therapeutic Frontier at Imperial College in London, to give us a bit of advice.
Normally, a cold and flu starts with a viral infection. When your immune system is in a good shape, is well prepared, then normally this infection lasts 7 days up to 10 days. When your immune system is really struggling with the virus, is really having a hard time to clear the infection, after 6 days you might go into a secondary complication. And then it's not just viral, then a bacteria might add, and then you get a super infection. And then we talk about pneumonia, we talk about bronchitis, we're talking about sinusitis. And these are very severe infections.
So the aim of these in vitro studies was really to try and understand the mechanisms by which Echinacea is able to reduce some of the symptoms you might get when you get a common cold, and also suppress some of the downstream effects following the cold, which can leave you open to secondary bacterial infections, such as sinusitis, lower airway involvement, bronchitis, those more severe infections that you might get, which actually are the real complications following the common cold. So the studies found that Echinacea is able to not only suppress the ability for virus to infect cells in the first place, but also the ability to suppress some of the downstream effects that the virus may have on your immune system. Importantly, the ability to suppress inflammation, which can lead patients open to secondary bacterial infections following a virus. So the two major findings were suppression of viral infection and also inhibition of the inflammatory pathway which happens following infection, which leads you open to secondary bacterial infection.
Very interesting indeed, Dr. David Naude back with us. So there we have it, a quick roundup into, you know, what happens if you're in the heart of a cold or a flu. But I think oftentimes it's not the cold or the flu that you should be worried about. You're worried about the after effects, the secondary infections that can happen. Why do these happen in the first place?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, you know, viruses, when they infect our respiratory tract, they actually cause an inflammatory response. And it's this inflammatory response that gives us all our symptoms. But the other thing that happens when the airways become inflamed is that they open up receptors for bacteria to now come and attach to the airway as well. So these bacteria are floating around in the system, but when these receptors become, they're like little docking stations, and the bacteria comes along and docks onto that cell, and then you have a secondary bacterial infection, making the condition even more serious and more complicated.
And that is the one that we need to try and prevent, because that's the real cause for concern. But the studies show that the duration of colds and flus and the symptoms that go with it, like inflammation and also fever, are reduced after introducing Echinacea. Now, why is that so important, to make sure that you reduce that period? And also, if you're taking a look at something like a fever, I mean, is it considered a good or a bad thing? Because I think, as you know, me as a parent, your kid gets a fever, you worry.
Absolutely, the dreaded fever. But firstly, it's important to talk about something called immune exhaustion. And immune exhaustion is where, for every day that you are ill, you are straining your body's anti-inflammatory mechanisms. So when you get sick, your immune system responds and your body tries to compensate by drawing from the adrenal glands, for example, to make anti-inflammatory hormones. So if you're sick often or for protracted periods of time, you actually drain this function. And that makes you more vulnerable to an infection the second time around, or another one. That's where you get your recurrent respiratory tract infections. And as far as fever goes, you know, it's something that parents become very alarmed about. But the biggest mistake is to actually suppress a fever early on. Because by suppressing the fever, there's nothing blocking that bacteria replication or viral replication. You just prolong the illness.
Right, understand. I think this is also a big one for parents maybe to note as well. So don't you know, run away the minute your child gets a fever. Manage it, because the body does kind of need it to fight through that. Now, antibiotics, of course, is often the first thing that we reach for when we are sick. But there is a misconception that it is the strongest treatment, but are they necessarily the best for your health? And that is the big question here. Dr. Peter Fisher, Research Director from Royal London Hospital for Integrated Medicine, sheds some light on this issue.
We have a really big global crisis of antimicrobial resistance. And note that I say antimicrobial, not antibiotic, because although antibiotics are the main drugs, there are also antiviral agents, which are important in this context because most respiratory tract infections are viral, and resistance to them is also emerging. And we have a really big problem, global problem. People are dying already, and many more are going to die from antibiotic resistance. So we need to find strategies for reducing antibiotic resistance. And the existing strategies are actually remarkably unimaginative. They're convergent. They say, you know, we've got to do more of the same, only better. And we need to invent new antibiotics. There hasn't been a new class of antibiotics introduced in over 30 years. So what we need is alternatives, particularly for the vulnerable groups. And the vulnerable groups are the very young and the very old. The problem is you get a viral infection, particularly in children, and it can then develop into something, maybe to croup, maybe to pneumonia, something really serious. And you need to head that off at the pass. You need to stop that happening. I think, if anything, immunity levels, strangely, have declined. And this may be due to early influences. One thing that we do know for certain is that asthma has become much more common. And the reason for this appears to be the hygiene hypothesis. Kids are too clean these days. It does seem that children, for instance, children who are raised on farms get less asthma. Children who have older siblings get less asthma than other children. And that seems to be because they're exposed to particular kinds of bugs earlier in their life. That helps their immune system to mature. So possibly, I mean, it sounds paradoxical, but as a result of children being too clean, not getting exposed to bacteria early in life, their immune systems develop more slowly. And there is some evidence that upper respiratory tract infections are getting more common.
All right, so there we have it. So David, after that, you know, we see there are some major risks when it comes to the use of, or the overuse of antibiotics. So we were just talking about it just now. I think people reach towards antibiotics, you know, for no reason really whatsoever, just trying to suppress the symptoms and get better. But is this harmful to our health, and does it damage our immune systems in the long run?
Well, there is research and evidence that actually confirms that. And usually how this happens is an antibiotic has a significant detrimental effect on your microbiome, which is all your healthy bacteria that live in your intestine. And these are intricately involved with your immune system. So if you take an antibiotic unnecessarily, especially for a viral infection, which is not going to react to an antibiotic anyway, there actually is harm done because you are having a significant negative impact on that microbiome, which makes you more vulnerable to another infection. I mean, we all know about the issues around antibiotic resistance and superbugs.
It's a big topic worldwide.
Big topic. I mean, superbugs were limited to the hospital environment historically, and now you're finding them in the community setting as well. So if there's anything that you can do to reduce the unnecessary prescribing of antibiotics is important.
And I mean, that's also coming from you as a homeopath. So just to impart a little bit of, I think, words of wisdom to our viewers this morning, how do you go about your daily life with regards to natural medicines to make sure that you look after your immune system in the long run so that you can avoid the overuse of antibiotics?
Well, look, there are a number of things you can do, and the first thing is be proactive. You know, if you have a child that's susceptible or showing, you know, multiple infections, is put something in preventatively rather than only reacting when the child gets sick. And the other thing is vigilance. You know, observe your children carefully, and at the first sign of a symptom, intervene or put in an intervention or increase your, for example, if you're using Echinacea, increase the dosage. So that's an important point as well. There are other factors, obviously, to look at as well. There's lifestyle and diet, stress levels. These all affect our immune system. And gut health, making sure our intestines are healthy. That's
eating
a major
the right
role
type
player.
of foods and incorporating. Dr. David, thank you very much. I mean, very interesting topic. Really appreciate your advice this morning as well. And yeah, when it comes to my family as well, they have been pumped with Echinacea Junior, and I've been using it myself as well. Brilliant from a management point of view. So there you have it. Take care of yourselves, but stay tuned for more on colds and flu as we tackle this topic on the Culinary Hotline. You can call us with your questions, and then a little later we discuss that big breakthrough study.
A. Vogel's Echinacea is the world's strongest herbal product that's clinically proven to prevent and treat colds, flu, and their complications.
See, Mom, you should be taking it. My mom's lying at home in bed now. She's sick.
Aww, you should definitely take it.
I'm going to ship you some to you to sing.
Well, we're about to take a quick break. When we get back, we're doing things differently this morning with the Culinary Hotline. Bling!
Ting, ting, ting!
And it's all about eating healthy and for you to, you know, incorporate healthier ways into your lifestyle.
Yep, and as we begin to celebrate the start of Women's Month, we do so with some of our favorite artists that we've featured over the past years. And can you remember 14-year-old Alexis Morast from New York, who blew us away with her talent? If you don't, then make sure that you don't miss out on that.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Dibbidi-boom-bum. Yes, it's birthday time again because every day, every single day. Millions of people around the world celebrate their birthdays, and you might be one of those special people. In case it is so, happy birthday to you, but you could be also celebrating it with some very, very cool people out there.
Very cool people indeed. I always thought you pronounced it Yves Saint Laurent, but you say it's Yves Saint Laurent.
Yves Saint Laurent.
Yves Saint Laurent is celebrating the birthday today, turning 71 years old. Of course, the famous fashion designer, always ahead of trends, so happy birthday.
Yep. Also, today, the birthday of probably the world's favorite Game of Thrones
character.
Did you hear that sigh from Zoe? That pretty much summarizes it. Jason Momoa.
He didn't have a big role.
Hey?
He didn't have a big role, but he made an impact.
Absolutely. Whoa. Where was I? Yes, Khal Drogo is the role that he played in Game of Thrones, and most recently he was also Aquaman on DC Comic, the DC Comic movie. He's turning 39 today, okay?
Happy birthday.
There he is,
Doesn't
Jason
look
Momoa.
A day older than 25.
I said Leanne is ready to trade in her kidney right now. She's like, yes!
I hope you heard that, but that was our birthdays. And if it's your birthday today, we would love to wish you a happy birthday too. And if you're celebrating your birthday, or you'd love to wish someone, feel free to let us know. Send us a photo, let us know how old you are, so that we can wish you a happy birthday too.
I'm just thinking, Leanne, what happened to Idris? Idris Elba?
No, Michael B. Jordan.
I mean, who? Boy, bye. Oh, this is actually the news. Well, let's take a look at what's happening in the news this morning. The official unemployment rate increased by 0.5% to 27.2% in the second quarter of 2018 from 26.7% in the first 3 months of the year. Statistician General Risenga Maluleka released the quarterly labour force survey for April, May and June in Pretoria yesterday. The increase in the unemployment rate was due to a decline of 90,000 people in employment, as well as an increase of 102,000 people who became unemployed. Additionally, the number of discouraged job seekers rose to 2.9 million between the first and second quarters of 2018. Social Security Agency SASSA has warned grant beneficiaries who have the new gold card that they can't use the card or rather at cash pay points for at least 2 months. However, the agency says they can be used at ATMs, post offices and merchant stores. Earlier system glitches affected 700,000 of the 12 million beneficiaries who hold the new gold card. SASSA spokesperson Paseka Letsatsi said together with the South African Post Office, they've been working 24 hours around the clock to ensure the system is up and running. Now moving further abroad, Zimbabwe's government warned election candidates yesterday that they could face prosecution and jail sentences for prematurely announcing results of landmark polls after the main opposition MDC party said that it had won. The Zimbabwe Electoral Commission results for the presidential candidate will only be released once counting has been completed in over 10,000 polling stations across the country. The ZEC's chair, Priscilla Chikunga, says no rigging or cheating has been detected. Estimated voting turnout was around 75%. Full results are only due on Saturday. And then finally, North Korea appears to be building new ballistic missiles despite the recent warming of ties with the Trump administration and pledges to denuclearize. Unnamed US officials said that spy satellites had spotted continuing activity at a site that has produced ballistic missiles. Donald Trump met North Korea's Kim Jong-un in Singapore in June, and the two men pledged to work towards denuclearization. Trump later said North Korea was no longer a nuclear threat. However, he was criticized at home for making concessions without securing any firm commitment from Kim. Well, that was your 8 o'clock news update. Here's a final look at what's happening in the world of sport with Kat.
Yes, Leanne, Jason Momoa is waiting for you there. Thanks. All right, on the scoreboards this morning, the Proteas are back in action today as they take on Sri Lanka in the second ODI of the 5-match series. South Africa already hold a 1-0 lead after standout performances from Tabraiz Shamsi, Kagiso Rabada and JP Dumini helped guide the team to a 5-wicket win in the first ODI. And today's match gets underway at the Rangiri Dambula Stadium in Sri Lanka at 11 a.m. South African time. Meanwhile, Kaizer Chiefs' new head coach Giovanni Solinas can officially start his reign in charge of the club after receiving his work permit yesterday. Solinas was confirmed as the new Chiefs manager on the 13th of July, but hasn't been able to lead the team in pre-season matches without the official paperwork. Solinas will be pitch side for Kaizer Chiefs' opening PSL game as they tackle Mamelodi Sundowns this coming Saturday. And finally, former world #1 Andy Murray marked his return to hard courts with a comeback victory over Mackenzie McDonald at the City Open in Washington, D.C. yesterday. In his first hard court game in 17 months, Murray battled back after losing his first set to eventually see out the 3-6, 6-4, 7-5 round 1 win in 2 hours and 37 minutes. Elsewhere, there were also day 2 wins for Naomi Osaka, Sloane Stephens and Noah Rubin. And that's a roundup of the sporting news of the day.
On that note, let's take a final look at what to expect in your traffic. And there's a car alight on Jake's Garwal Drive that's at Bouwer Circle. The right lane on the northbound carriageway is currently obstructed, so please be patient on that route. And that's a wrap on your traffic for this morning.
More than a club, more than an appliance brand. Defy.
Right, it's just after 8 o'clock. Let's quickly take a last look at your weather and your temperatures. It's your Wednesday morning and it looks like the Gauteng province can expect nice and warm temperatures going into this midday weekend. Along the coast, though, cooler temperatures with some rain expected for Cape Town, also in Worcester today. Your temperatures for last time, Polokwane this morning, 9 minimum with a maximum 26. Mbombela, 10.33. Pretoria, 8 and a high of 24. Johannesburg, 7.23. Mahikeng, 7.27. Klerksdorp, 4 and a high of 26. Kimberley, 2 minimum with a maximum 22. Bloemfontein, -2 this morning, nice and cold, but warming up to 21. Richards Bay, 16.25. Pietermaritzburg, 6 and a high of 24. Durban, 16.22. Mthatha, 4 minimum with a maximum 21. East London, 11.21. Cradock, 1 minimum with a maximum 19. Port Elizabeth, 10 and a high of 19 as well. George, 8.18. Sutherland, -1 and a high of 11. Cape Town, 9.17. Worcester, 4.15. Springbok, 3.16. And Uppington, 3 minimum this morning, reaching a high of 20. That's a wrap of your weather and your temperatures for your Wednesday morning.
All right, we continue to celebrate the start of Women's Month with our favorite Women Crush Wednesday performances, if you will. Now, we've had artists from all across the world joining us on your Feel Good Breakfast show. We've had singers, entertainers, we've had choirs. But one of them, a 14-year-old jazz singer from New Jersey, really captured our hearts and really caught our attention as she was on our South African tour and stopped by our studios to perform Song for You by Donny Hathaway.
So many places in my life and time. I've sung a lot of songs and I've made some bad rhymes. I've acted out my life on stages with 10,000 people watching. But we're alone now, and I'm singing this song to you. I know your image of me is what I hope to be. I've treated you unkindly, darling, can't you see? There's no one more important to me. Baby, can't you see through me? We're alone now, and I'm singing a song to you. You taught me precious secrets of a true love with holding nothing. You came out front and I was hiding. Oh, but now I'm so much better. And if my words don't come together, listen to the melody, 'cause my love's in there hiding. I love you in a place where there's no space or time. I love you. You are a friend of mine. And when my life is over, remember when we were together. We are alone now, and I'm singing this song to you. We are alone now, and I'm singing this song to you. We are alone now, and I'm singing this song to you. To you. Thank you.
I mean, when you start your Wednesday like that,
Never mind Wednesday, your Women's Month. Oh, unbelievable.
Great. That's great music. Great music.
Well, we're about to take a quick break on your Feel Good Break for sure. When we get back, looking after your health is very important, but the same counts for your animals. We're going to make sure your animal has a healthy tummy.
Absolutely. Then we'll also open up our lines 021 430 9881. We'll venture into the kitchen, get a panel of experts, talk about healthy eating in this week's edition of the Culinary Hotline, playing Sing, Sing, Sing!
This week on Top Billing, we're in the sky with Chiana Sky.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's father against son.
It is a battle of the generations.
And the clock will be the judge.
You will not want to miss Jerry and Lerato Macheto on Top Billing. You can catch it all this Saturday at 6 p.m. or repeat Sundays at noon. The stage is yours, gentlemen. Start your engines.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone.
Culinary Hotline.
That can only mean one thing.
It's that time of the week. Yes, you can say it, Gabby. It's time for the Culinary Hotline. Bling! Sing, sing, sing! Okay, clearly, for the uninducted into the Hall of Fame that is the Culinary Hotline Bling, whenever you hear that, you have to say sing, sing, sing.
In the most, but then I just felt really awkward
what I mean?
for like 2 seconds.
Get on it, okay? Culinary Hotline Bling! Sing, sing, sing! Because it's a Wednesday. Exactly, you know how it works. So we've got Dr. David Naude, a homeopath, and of course, Gabriella Sangiorgio on our food panel who are standing by to answer all of your burning foodie questions. And if you have any healthy culinary questions, please give us a call on 021-430-9881, because that's what we're focusing on. We're trying to keep our immune systems super healthy so that we can last throughout the winter period and make it into spring in a healthy way. So talk to me, Dr. Naude, about the key ingredients that we should be looking to include in our diets at this moment.
Well, one of the most well-known is vitamin C. And I think everyone knows that, to eat oranges and citrus fruit, but there are other good sources of vitamin C as well that we often miss.
Yeah.
But also don't forget about all your other brightly coloured fruits and veggies.
Yes.
They contain a lot of beta-carotene or vitamin A, which is a big role to play in your mucous membranes.
Yeah.
And the immune system in your mucous membranes.
Yeah. I've been trying to introduce myself to the idea of eating whole foods, but whole foods as a whole, if you will. So for instance, now I've got a batch of nachos at home, and I try to eat the skin as well, because they say, all the nutrients are in the skin. Plus, nachos are, nice and soft. Is that a true thing? Should we be looking to do that?
I think it depends on what you're eating. I don't know if I could eat the skin of a nachi or an orange, but there are some benefits, but
like I would say candy, yes, but I feel like that takes all the health away from that, so don't do that for your health reason, but do it for cupcakes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, yeah. But so you'd say, obviously some of them are beneficial, some of them not, but obviously you're trying to get as much vitamin C as possible, beta-carotene, like you said, vitamin A. All right, so then this brings us to the first of our healthy drinks that we're making. Gabby, take us through it.
So, as you're talking about our vitamin C, a great example is obviously your nachos or your oranges. We've also got blueberries here, which are really high in antioxidants.
Excellent.
So great for, obviously, a big ingredient in cancer fighting. We've got now turmeric and ginger. I was actually reading up on ginger last night. I mean, it's something I have every day.
Yeah.
It's got obviously anti-inflammatory properties. It helps with pain reducing, nausea, and also great. It's got an effect that makes your body feel warm on the inside. So when you're sick,
ginger, that is.
Yeah. So ginger is really great to have, whether it's in a smoothie or you have it in some hot water. So that's great.
Dr. Naude, I mean, I try to be a super healthy person, and whenever I go to a restaurant, before eating anything, I'm like, can I please have a cup of boiling water, a couple of slices of lemon, honey, and ginger before I eat it? Is that a good thing for your digestive system, for your body?
Absolutely. The warm water actually promotes digestion. And as does lemon, certainly helps emulsify fat. So if you're in for a very greasy, hopefully not, but a very greasy, oily meal, and you have some of that in your system ahead of the time, you will actually digest a bit better.
Excellent. And when you look at the ingredients that Gabby's including in our smoothie, what do you rate it in terms of a healthy smoothie to have?
Well, there's plenty of antioxidants in there. Certainly the blueberries, a lot of research on the health benefits of that. Turmeric, major anti-inflammatory. We use it for arthritis and other chronic inflammatory conditions. And of course the ginger, as we said, digestive benefits, and also antioxidants.
Beautiful stuff. I like that you added the green. What is that? Is that
that's some kale.
Some kale.
Love me some kale.
It's like the new healthy superfood of the world, isn't it?
Oh, it's wonderful.
All right, get in there.
Give it a blitz.
Boost it. Yeah. There we go. And these days, I'm convinced that that the uglier the color of the smoothie, the healthier it is. That's kind of like the equation for me. If it looks like you wouldn't drink it, then do drink it. Okay? All right, we've actually got a caller on the line. Catherine from Cape Town. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning.
Oh, welcome to the Culinary Hotline. Bling! Sing, sing, sing! Yes, Catherine. You just made my morning. All right, what is your culinary conundrum this morning?
I would like to ask the doctor. I've been having this cold for about, I think it's about 4 weeks now. I've been coughing and wheezing on my chest, and I'm 77 years old. And I would like to know if the Echinacea will help me to take away the wheezing, the coughing. All right. That's all I wanted to know.
Thank you very much.
Will that help me?
Thank you very much, Catherine. Listen up on your television and we'll have Dr. Naude answer for you. All right.
Well, we know from research that Echinacea is anti-inflammatory. So those symptoms of wheezing and a tight chest that often comes after a respiratory tract infection is remaining inflammation that the body hasn't switched off. So Echinacea has an anti-inflammatory effect, and we know it reduces this. So to answer your question, yes, Echinacea is something you could definitely think about to settle that inflammation.
Okay, so give it a try there, Catherine. Maybe give our recipe a try as well. SMS drink to 33728 and we'll send you a list of the ingredients as well as a link to the recipe so that you can make your own beautiful... What do you call this? Is just a super healthy smoothie?
Exactly. I mean, you're so wonderful. I'm not even going to change the name now. That's exactly what it is.
Dr. Naude, you know there's another reason why we brought you into the kitchen, right?
You wanted me to taste it.
Exactly, yes. So you got to taste it.
Go. It looks good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you now.
It's a bit thick, isn't it?
You know what's nice about a thick smoothie? I feel like it makes you much more fuller.
How's that?
Yeah.
It's a nice little bit of zing from the ginger at the end.
Yeah,
Very nice, actually. I'll have another sip.
Professional taster there. We're going to ask Dr. Naude to stay with us as well as Gabby. We're going to be making more healthy drinks for this winter season. And of course, for this one, SMS drink to 33728. And our lines are open. 0214309881. The Culinary Hotline bling. Ching, ching, ching. We'll return.
That's right. Well, tonight you can tune into Afternoon Express, rather this afternoon at 4:30 p.m. for a delicious Thai-styled recipe that will make everyone happy around the dinner table, even the kids. Now, Clem prepares irresistibly light and flavorful Thai sweet corn fritters with a sweet chili dipping sauce, and it is great as a quick snack or even as a side dish as well. Well, seeing as though we're keeping healthy, why don't we go and chat, or rather take a look at the health of our pets as well.
Did you know that many recent studies are showing that having a good balance of bacteria in your gut can be incredibly beneficial to your health? Well, the exact same thing goes for our pets. Ensuring that your pet's gut bacteria remains balanced is extremely important to their overall health. And Dr. Guy Fyvie, Veterinary Affairs Manager at Hill's Pet Nutrition in South Africa, he's here to tell us everything we need to know to keep our pets happy and healthy. Guy, good morning.
Good morning, Zoe.
You know what, the gut is something that's coming up in conversation a lot. Our own health, naturally, we need to keep that in mind for our pets. What exactly are we talking about?
So we're talking about the gut bacteria, as you were saying, but really what we're trying to do is have a healthy bacteria in there. We call it the microbiome now. The microbiome being like a savanna where you have a whole lot of different animals and plants and trees and everything all coexisting. That's what we have in our gut and on our skin, in fact.
What exactly does it mean to have the good bacteria?
Approximately 100 trillion cells, bacteria in our gut. That's 100 with 12 zeros behind it, which is about 3 or 4 times more than what we have in our body. There are millions of different types of them. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. And what we want to do is promote the good ones because they help to keep the gut healthy. They do things like produce certain metabolites, butyric acid, which is important for the cells. They help to absorb nutrients like calcium and phosphorus. They crowd out the bad bacteria, which is obviously what we're trying to do to avoid things like E. coli and listeria. If we've got a good, healthy gut biome, we can avoid those.
Okay.
Latest research has also shown that actually the gut microbiome is different to people who tend to be obese or overweight and thin people. And so they've got completely different microbiomes, so it even comes down to that.
You know what? Studies have shown that there is a big link between stress and anxiety and the gut. Can you tell us a little bit more about this study?
So what it means is if the gut is not healthy, then the brain is also not healthy, and we can actually get stressed, and that causes damage to the gut or the other way around as well.
Okay.
Not only stress, but depression can also be due to gut bacteria that's not correct. If we can change what's happening in the gut, we can also then improve the stress factor.
So how would you pick that up in your animal?
It's more that if they stress, they change the gut bacteria, and then they can get diseases like diarrhea and vomiting. So there are 2 things. There's probiotics and prebiotics. If we give the prebiotics, which is the fiber that they use, then we can get the right bacteria to grow.
But how can we ensure that our pets get the exact probiotics that they need?
We can use specific diets like Hill's ID Stress, which has the probiotics in it, the ones that help to improve the correct bacteria. Hill's ID Stress also has milk protein hydrolysate in it, which helps to reduce the stress point of view or calms them down, and therefore also has a beneficial effect on the gut bacteria.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Pleasure, Zoe.
And remember, a healthy pet starts with a healthy gut. So wise up and get your pet checked so that you can give your four-legged friend the best possible care.
Science is at the heart of biology-based nutrition. The secret to lifelong health, it all starts with science.
All right, we've been engaged in some pretty interesting conversation in the kitchen, which we will proliferate to you after the break. If you give us a call on 0214309881 on the Culinary Hotline, playing
Ting, ting, ting. We got it. And we've also been talking about colds and flus, busting some myths this morning, but we are going to be helping you to take control of your cold and your flu with Dr. David Naude after the break. Stick around.
Enjoy a moment in between with McAfee. See you after the break.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone. Culinary Hotline bling. That can only mean one thing.
It means one thing when you hear that song. It's time for the Culinary Hotline bling. Sing, sing, sing.
I got this thing now with my head and I don't know why I keep doing it.
I can see in Dr. Naude's eyes how he wants to just say ting, ting, ting. But then inside he's like, I'm a doctor. Just control it, which is good. We respect the professionalism. All right, we've got a caller on the line. Sarah Lee, good morning.
Good morning, Kat. How are you?
Oh, all the better for hearing your voice. Welcome to the Culinary Hotline bling.
Ting, ting, ting.
I love you so much right now. You have no idea how much I love you. All right, quickly give us your culinary conundrum. Let's see if we can solve it for you.
Okay, so I have been suffering with the flu for like 2 weeks now, and that's my little one next to me, so I've passed it on to her as well.
Oh.
I'm currently breastfeeding, and I wanted to know whether it's fine for me to go ahead and take Echinacea, obviously with in the mornings, whenever I can, because I am breastfeeding, so I needed to know whether it's safe for her as well.
That is a fantastic question. It's been said so many times that breast is best, and we encourage moms out there to breastfeed their kids anywhere you feel comfortable, by the way, Sarah Lee. Anywhere you feel comfortable. All right, so she's asking about taking Echinacea while, let's say, suffering from a flu. Is it okay to do that?
Well, this is one of the nice things about Echinacea is, firstly, the FDA, which is an American organization, actually gives Echinacea a Class A rating. It means it's completely safe to use during pregnancy. And then research has shown that in terms of breastfeeding, only a small amount of the active ingredient is passed through the breast milk. In actual fact, that small amount is actually beneficial to the child.
Oh, wow.
So according to the evidence in the literature, it's absolutely safe to use.
Fantastic. Sarah Lee, thank you very much for that wonderful question, and I hope that you and your little one enjoy the special bonding time during breastfeeding. That's also just wonderful. So let's talk about a trend right now, fermented food. Okay, it's starting to make waves. What exactly is it, and is it beneficial for your health? People are starting to eat more fermented food, I guess.
Well, look, I mean, we've got bacteria in our intestine that ferment foods as we eat them. These are called lactic acid bacteria, and they actually produce lactic acid as an output. And lactic acid has a whole host of benefits for our digestion. So if you've got a scenario where your bacteria are compromised and you're not making enough lactic acid, in your gut, then certainly supplementing it in terms of fermented foods is going to give you that extra bit that you're lacking.
Yeah.
So there's a significant amount of health benefits.
Is this the same lactic acid that makes your muscles hurt after exercise?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay. Well, this is in the intestine, not in the blood.
Yes.
So different action.
All right.
This is a healthy benefit.
Another caller on the line right now. Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, Elizabeth, welcome to the Culinary Hotline. Bling.
Good morning. Thank you.
All right, Elizabeth, what is your culinary conundrum?
I want to find out about moringa. Thanks to you and Stray Dom's review on the radio not too long ago. When is the best time in the day to take moringa?
The best time of the day to take moringa. Is that the question?
Yes.
All right, good. Gabby, do you have something to say?
Also, it's actually a supplement that I use quite frequently as well. What I read up about is the morning. So if you have a smoothie in the morning, it's perfect.
Not usually. That's mostly later in the day. Okay. So is it okay to take it maybe in the evening?
You know what? Fortunately, it does not have any caffeine in it. So the moment that you have anything that's, it's caffeinated, it kind of keeps your body awake. But fortunately, it's totally natural. It's a superfood, as you obviously are well aware. So you can definitely take it in the evening. It's just, if you're someone that enjoys that taste, then amazing. I just don't like the taste, so I put it in a smoothie when I can't taste it. But if you enjoy it, you of course can have it in the evening.
All right, well, thank you very much. We're going to talk about another superfood that whose taste you might not like, but is apparently super amazing for you. In this green little shot over here, wheatgrass, right? That is a powerful superfood.
Absolutely. I mean, the antioxidants in that little shot there is equivalent to almost a whole bowl of fruit. So if you can have that on a regular basis, your health is going to significantly improve.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at how you can incorporate it at home then to make your own healthy drink. So what have you got here for us, Gabby?
So what we're going to do is kind of make a bit of a healthy cocktail, because I think a lot of people always say they want to juice and have those nutrients immediately. The problem is that juices are expensive, so that's not at your what you can afford. Then a lot of cafes and delis and health stores actually press their own wheatgrass shots as well as ginger shots.
Okay.
So go purchase them, and then what we're going to do, especially for kids that obviously don't always really like the taste of this, I really don't, but it is amazing. It is amazing for what it can do for you.
It's amazingly good for you, yeah.
So what we're going to do is make a bit of like a healthy cocktail, if you want to call it that.
So we've got 1 shot of wheatgrass.
And we've got our ginger shot.
Oh, it's a lot of ginger.
It's a lot of ginger. Like your sinuses are going to love you. And what I'm going to add here is just some other juice, especially for your kids, because at least they won't really taste the nasty green flavour.
Beetroot and strawberry.
I know, how delicious.
I like where this is going.
Yeah, so we've got to have some beetroot and strawberry, which I'm going to mix in.
Okay.
And look, I'm not going to lie, as you said, like the colour isn't always the most attractive looking thing, but then you know that your stomach is loving you.
This is not unicorn juice, it's human juice,
yes,
okay?
Exactly.
And then
you've got some carrot and orange, obviously, for your extra basic carotene, as well as your antioxidants and vitamin C.
Excellent.
So all I'm going to do is do a bit of a stir.
And then you can SMS the keyword drink to 33728 if you'd like to receive the link to the ingredients as well as a link to the recipe. Before we even taste that, prebiotics, probiotics, are there any in here that we're trying to get into our body, and why? What are the differences between those?
Well, a prebiotic is a substance that bacteria in our gut live off. So that's actually food for our natural bacteria. And a probiotic is where we actually supplement live organisms into the intestine, normally in liquid format or a tablet.
Okay.
So they're slightly different, but they are linked in the same process.
In the digestive system.
Absolutely.
All right, so then there you have it. I'm going to pour myself and the good doctor a shot for our health. Oh, lovely, lovely.
Enjoy.
I'm going to give you the one that had the ginger in. The keyword is drink, and you can SMS that to 33728. Gabby, you being a special guest, this is for you.
It's the start of Women's Month, and I would like you to have that lovely shot.
I serve at your pleasure, madame. Here
Cheers.
you go, sir. To your health. Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, is it? Okay,
that's
good. So
fantastic.
the ginger isn't like
SMS drink to 33728. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. That's the last of our Culinary Hotline Bling. Ting, ting, ting. We'll do it again next week. Thanks, Doc. That was pretty
Brilliant stuff indeed. Well, Next up, of course, you now know that I recently visited Switzerland, and now I can tell you the main reason for that trip. Now, that was, of course, to hear the results of a first-time study of A. Vogel's Echinaforce's ability to prevent and treat colds and flu in children. And believe me, as a parent of 2 young boys, this was music to my ears. Now, there are very few studies done on cold and flu medications in children because there are just so many regulatory hoops to jump through. But now, for the very first time, the world has clinical proof of the effectiveness of Echinacea in children and in the form, of course, A. Vogel's Echinaforce.
On a perfect summer's day in Zurich, Switzerland, we met up with Dr. Mercedes Ogle, a specialist pediatrician and the lead researcher on a very successful clinical trial with A. Vogel's Echinaforce Jr. in children.
This study is so important because it's the first study of Echinacea in children, and we only have data from adults. The aim of the latest study was to figure out whether the amount of respiratory tract infections in children could be reduced. It was conducted in the winter 2016 and 17 with 203 children. 13 pediatricians and general practitioners all over Switzerland participate. We recruit children in between the age of 4 and 12 years, and we were lucky because the mean age was 8 years, and we had 40% of the children who are under 6 years old. 92% of them went to kindergarten and school, so this was important for us because then they have a lot of contacts with germs like virus infections. And the children got Echinacea for 2 months with 1 week break, and then again for 2 months, 3 times a day a tablet with 400 milligram Echinacea extract. The major findings of the study are absolutely amazing. They are breathtaking for me as a pediatrician. With Echinacea for children, we have a reduction of colds and flus of 33%. That's high. That means 173 days less with infections. And we have a reduction of days with fever of 67%. This means they are not missing in school so much. The parents can go to work. That has a high socioeconomic benefit. And then for me as a pediatrician, the most important, interesting thing is that we have a reduction of complications. We have a reduction of complications in 64% of the children. And then, conducting from this, we had a reduction of the use of antibiotics of 73%. That's amazing. We have a tool to prevent respiratory tract infections in children with Echinaforce for children.
A 64% reduction in cold and flu complications and a 73% reduction in the need for antibiotics are big news to every parent, doctors and grandparents too.
If we are going to use it, then this would mean a high reduction of respiratory tract infections. They still get it because it's important for the immune system to ripe, but they will have less fever days. They will not miss school or kindergarten, and they can go to grandma and granddaddy and give them a kiss, because children are so often giving their infections to older people, and they are really in danger, and parents can still go to work if the child is not with fever. And the benefit is also that it's herbal. It's not something chemically. Parents like to give it and children like to take it because the taste is so fantastic. It has a soft orange aroma and they really like it. I recommend Echinaforce for children in several situations. One situation is to prevent. I mean, as a pediatrician, I know which children are getting several infections and which have severe winters. You know them from the last winter. And then if you see the child or the parents, and very often you see them with siblings, then you tell them, oh yes, we have something where you can prevent the respiratory tract infections. If you have an infection in your child, or even if the child is getting a flu and fever, then I would recommend to give more Echinaforce. Echinaforce is more effective if you higher the dose, so you give 5 or 6 tablets a day when you have fever. We did another study about that.
It took Alfred Vogel a decade to perfect the unique formulation of Echinaforce. 30 years of clinical research has consistently proven its ability to strengthen the immune system and prevent and treat colds, flu and their complications. And now there's strong clinical proof of its efficacy in children. In Echinacea, we have a safe, natural proven product that can protect the whole family all year, every year.
And how is that? I think we were just laughing now, myself and Dr. Naude, the punchline here, 73% reduction with regards to the need for antibiotics. That is incredible. Dr. Naude, how do you feel about these results, man?
I must say it's very exciting, you know, to have something like this that we can confidently prescribe to our patients for the first time is absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a breakthrough for echinacea. It's a breakthrough for natural remedies as a whole, because now for the first time the world has clinical proof of the effectiveness of echinacea, especially around in children, in the form of A. Vogel's Echinacea. So I think it is definitely going to shake things up a bit going forward as well. But you were at the Echinacea Research Conference in Zurich recently. Tell us about the importance of this study from your point of view, and why do you think this is such a breakthrough for echinacea specifically?
Well, firstly, respiratory tract infections are so common in children. It's a huge health problem. We've heard Dr. Peter Fisher earlier speaking about it. I mean, the impact of respiratory tract infections, I mean, as a parent, you know, we get that dreaded phone call from school. You know, Johnny's got a fever, you've got to come and fetch him, take him home, or he's complaining of severe earache. So there's a direct impact on the child and the parent, who has to take time off work to look after the sick child. So there is economical effects, there's increased burden on our healthcare systems. So, you know, any intervention that can help prevent this is welcome, you know, by practitioners, by parents. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we've got so much evidence on echinacea and its effect in the body, as I mentioned, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, and so on. But for the first time, we now have evidence showing that it does the same thing in children. So up until now, all the evidence we had was largely based on trials done on adults. Now we can confidently say it works the same in children.
That is brilliant. And of course, the purpose of the study, you mentioned it, respiratory tract infection. So just unpack exactly what is that, and how can the use of Echinacea reduce maybe the symptoms of the length that you are infected by something like that, a virus that causes your respiratory symptoms?
So respiratory tract infections split into two types: upper respiratory tract, so that's basically from your throat and upwards, and then lower respiratory tract is when you have your lungs being involved. That's, for example, bronchitis and pneumonia. Certainly, as I said, incidence is very high of these things, and of course then we have the risk of complications. So, you know, if we've got a tool that can intervene and prevent these, we have a significant breakthrough and a significant product.
So here we have just a quicker rundown, and it really is, and I can understand the focus there, because it is those secondary infections from the cold and flu that we are taking on here, and this is where Echinacea really plays a large role. Now, with regards to these studies being done, what's the main difference if you compare studies around your conventional medicines as opposed to your natural medicines?
Well, essentially, when you're doing a clinical trial, you know, irrespective of what you're trialing, whether it's a natural product, as you say, or an orthodox drug, you still have to go through the same checks and balances. You know, there are ethical committees that have to review these trials and make sure that they're sound, and as well as various other legal requirements that have to be met. So from that point of view, they're subject to the same scrutiny. And of course, the results have to stand their own. They have to stand their ground. And in order for this to be done, you know, most research follows what we call the scientific method. And this particular study did exactly that. Randomized, controlled, blinded, checked all the balances, you know, for a good quality clinical trial.
Is it harder to prove, you know, like from a clinical point of view, when it comes to something like a natural medicine or remedy as opposed to your orthodox medicine, when you go through those particular steps, those same steps?
I wouldn't say it's harder as such, but you know, where you do face challenges, a lot of times the panels and the review committees that scrutinize these trials and give them approval are very experienced in orthodox medicine. So when they're faced with a natural product, it's a little bit uncommon for them, and certainly you do pick up a bit of challenges. But generally, the same process follows.
Well, the clinical proof is now there. We can definitely smile from ear to ear. Now, of course, there is a big drive, especially from parents' point of view, focusing on children, you know, making sure that they are healthy. Like you said, missed school days, you know, parents' responsibilities as well. But why is it so important that kids still get sick? And what maybe are we as parents doing wrong?
Well, look, every time the immune system encounters an organism or an infectious agent, it has to create a reaction. and then it learns from it, so that next time it's exposed to that same virus or bacteria, it knows how to react. So there is a degree of exposure that's necessary in order to mature an immune system. If you were to place a child in a sterile bubble, the immune system would just never develop. So it is necessary to get infections, but you don't want complications. That's the difference.
All right. Dr. David, thank you very much. I'm going to shake your hand, man, because I can only imagine what lies ahead for you and your practice and your homeopathy as well, man. It's going to be very, very exciting. But truly remarkable breakthrough indeed, the study for Echinacea and the benefits of using Echinacea to help prevent and treat colds and flus in children. Now, Echinacea makes fighting off colds and flu a little easier for the whole family. Now, if you're a parent, I'm sure you're practically doing cartwheels at those results because they are phenomenal. Now, a third fewer cold and flu infections, 67% actually fewer cold and flu complications, and 73% less need for antibiotics. That is music to my ears. And that's a lot less days off from school for your child and less medical bills for you as well. A real win-win situation. And the fact that a natural product can do this, well, that's just ticking all the boxes, isn't it?
Vogel's Echinacea is the world's strongest herbal product that's clinically proven to prevent and treat colds, flu, and their complications.
Well, you're certainly in for a treat after the break as Angie Boyd joins us, and we're going to whip up ripe fig and apple rose tartlets. That's coming up after the break.
We've also been going back into moments of time where incredible female artists have performed on your Feel Good Breakfast show, but we're going to go back to one more moment in time with the incomparable Belinda Davids.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. You're tuning into your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso right here on SABC3. Now, in the kitchen, mini desserts haven't finished having their moment, and warm treats are definitely ruling the foodie roost this winter. Enter Angie's hashtag for the love of winter, ripe fig and rose apple tartlets. Now, this recipe, should be at the top of everyone's must-bake list. Angie, lovely to see you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
This looks beautiful. Look at that.
Cute, aren't they?
They look very complicated.
They're very girly. It's for Girls Month, you see.
It's Women's Month. It's not girly, it's womanly.
Womanly.
Womanly. Right, so let's put this together. I would love to see how you go from this.
Okay,
to
so
that.
we'll do some of the things quite quickly. So what we've got is we've got our pre-baked pastry shells, and you can use your favorite short crust pastry for this.
Lovely.
So have those ready baked. You can even do a biscuit crust if you want. And then we're going to fill it with a custard. So I'll just show you very quickly. We'll do our custard. We've got our hot milk on the stove.
Yes.
A little bit of nutmeg for flavour.
I love homemade custard.
And with nutmeg, it just brings out the flavour as well.
Okay, some nutmeg.
We've got our 3 yolks.
Which we need to temper. I know this.
Oh, you are so good.
I know this. I saw it coming.
Hey. You could be doing this yourself.
Never, never. I'll always need somebody to hold my hand through this
Right.
stuff.
So we've got our egg yolks, our sugar, and some flour. The flour is going to thicken it up.
Can I help you in any way?
You can just keep an eye on that so we don't boil over.
Okay, I'm just gonna stir it.
Okay, so I'm making a paste out of the yolks, sugar, and flour.
Okay.
And then we are exactly going to temper it. So you're going to
because this guy is getting very, very hot.
Yeah, it is. Okay, you can pour a little bit of that milk into here.
Okay, good luck, Angie. I'm not taking responsibility.
That's all good. We have some ready-made custard in case it goes horribly wrong. Perfect, yeah.
Just like that.
A little bit more, just to thin it down a bit. Just makes it easier when you want to pour it back.
That's
okay,
it.
so this now goes back into the pot, and you can do the stirring.
All right.
And we stir until it's thickened.
So should you get scrambled eggs? Is there a way of fixing it?
No, the
but
thing
is there a way of fixing it if you do?
Yeah, but you won't with this. I'll tell you why. Because you've got flour in there, and the flour binds the yolks.
Right.
So it's not going to go to scrambled eggs. It's going to thicken. And
there you can see it's starting to thicken
already. It starts already. Just be careful it doesn't burn on the bottom, because that's the usual thing that happens.
Keep stirring.
Keep stirring.
Keep stirring.
And then you're going to end up with a nice sort of thickened custard like this.
Tell you what, we're going to take this guy off now.
Perfect. So now we've got our custard. And if you want it to be even thicker, you just add a little bit more flour. And then we're going to...
beautiful.
It is beautiful.
So what have you got in your little
yes,
crust there?
very important. We've got a bit of jam.
Okay, so we've got what is this? Rhodes quality ripe fig jam.
It's our ripe fig jam. And you put a little bit in the bottom, and this just... It's going to add like a little hit of flavour at the bottom, which is really nice.
Hits of flavour.
Of fruity flavour.
Listen, if you want to get your hands on this recipe, I know that there's a lot going on, but SMS the keyword Rhodes to 33728. That's Rhodes to 33728. We'll send you everything you need. Also a link to the recipe. It's on our website, yeah.
So now the most important, complicated part. So
the rose part.
We're going to make the rose part.
Okay.
Right. So we've got our apple. Just cut it down the middle.
All right.
And don't worry to take the core out or peel it or anything. And then you're going to cut it into lovely thin slices, as thin as you can manage.
Okay.
And then lay them out onto a plate. Just like that. If they overlap, it's fine.
Okay. It doesn't matter about the core.
No. Don't worry about the pips or anything. They're all going to fall out later.
Right.
Squeeze of orange juice. This is just stopping them going brown.
Orange juice or lemon juice? What do you think? Is this lemon?
Lemon juice. You could use orange juice.
Sorry, just
lemon
checking.
Juice,
Okay.
You know. And then a little dollop of the jam over it. And the jam is super important because it's going to kind of act like glue in a sense.
Right.
As well as add a bit of flavour. I just put a lid onto that, one of those microwave lids, into the microwave for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
And then they come out lovely and soft. And what we're looking for is where they're very bendy.
I see. Okay.
Because now we're going to need to roll it. Yeah.
Foldable. Okay.
If they were like this, they're just going to snap.
Right.
Right. So we're going to take. Watch this very closely. We're going to take.
Okay.
Watch closely.
Watch closely. Right.
Right. We're going to take about 7, and you want to use odd numbers. So 7 or 9. The bigger the rose you want, the more of these little slices you're going to take.
But odd numbers? Why odd numbers?
Because rose petals are in odd numbers.
Right. Okay, Rhodes is the keyword. SMS at 33728. Check out this recipe as well on our website, expressoshow.com.
Nature is an odd number, that's why.
Yeah, odd numbers. Remember the odd numbers.
Okay, so we're just going to overlap, and then again, we're going to do a second row.
Okay, so you...
And I know this seems... It's like building a house. It's
I was about to say.
Layering up the bricks.
Okay,
and
wow.
I've got the jam on, which is our glue. Sorry, I know this is taking a while, but you'll see the result
No,
in a second.
I need to see the end result here.
So then we're going to start. So we've layered up 2 rows.
Yeah.
Then we're just going to start. It's a little bit messy. So the paper is here. I actually use the knife, it's easier. Paper is here just to help you get it going.
Okay, and then you just start rolling.
And then you just roll it up like this.
And that's why the jam
is the
glue. The glue, so it just holds everything together.
So it's like a really tasty, edible glue. And it creates a bit of a... And then you just take that.
And I press it down.
And if you use...
My goodness.
A red apple, you're going to get the red skin
like we've
showing.
done there as well. Yeah.
So whatever colour you use, you're going to get your little rose.
You have a white apple rose.
A white apple rose. And then that gets plonked onto our custard. And then we just...
That is why, Angie, they pay you the big bucks to do these kind of things.
Exactly.
That is amazing. Thank you very much. What a beautiful little treat. That keyword is Rhodes. SMS that to 33728. Now, the Rhodes quality hashtag for the Love of Winter competition, it is here. And you stand a chance to win one of 6 5,000 Rand weekly prizes and a chance at the 100,000 Rand grand prize. Now, all you have to do is share a picture and a recipe of your Rhodes quality winter dish with that hashtag hashtag for the love of winter on the Rhodes Quality Facebook or Instagram page. Now, entries are open until the 16th of August. It's just around the corner. And after that, celebrity chef Zola Nene will pick the 2 winning entries who will battle it out for that grand prize. Now, remember, T's and C's do apply. You can find them on rhodesquality.com. Angie, once again, thank you very, very much for our womanly recipe this morning.
There we go.
Rhodes Quality, for the love of winter.
Well, it's also Wednesday, and make every Wednesday your wash day. And have you ever worn a piece of clothing that's been washed with a quality conditioner? And trust me, you'll know.
Exactly. It's all about the softness, the fragrance, the uncreased look, and the natural fall of the fabric that transforms you. And of course, you can expect that from the wash. The question is, how does it all work?
MAC Soft Fabric Conditioner combines 2 important ingredients: an oily lubricant to condition and realign fibers, and an encapsulated perfume to impart a fresh fragrance from wash to wash.
To fully understand fabric conditioner, we first need to understand fabric. Lisa, when it comes to fabric conditioner, we need to understand what type of fabric we're going to be washing. What would you say are the most common fabrics that we use?
Well, there's basically 3 types of fabric. Firstly, you get the natural fibers. These are things like cottons and linens. These are very prone to creasing, and using a fabric conditioner reduces creasing and also makes them easier to iron. Secondly, you get the regenerated fabrics like viscose, also very prone to creasing and have to be handled very carefully when you wash them. Using a fabric conditioner with these fabrics helps improve the fall of the material. And then finally, you get the synthetics. These are things like nylons, polyesters and lycra, very prone to static, which is prevalent in the drier months of the year, and fabric conditioners can alleviate this problem.
So, we know what problems arise with which fabrics, and that using a quality fabric conditioner makes all the difference. Now to understand the science of it.
How does fabric conditioner work?
So firstly we have a softening ingredient, which is chemically attracted to the surface of the fabric and actually penetrates into the fibers of the fabric, where it rebulks and softens the fibers, and that's what makes them more comfortable to wear. It also reduces static, which prevents the cling and creep of fabrics. MAC Soft Fabric Conditioner also has special encapsulated fragrance technology, where the fragrance is held in tiny microscopic pearls which are deposited onto the surface of the fabric. The little pearls then stay on the fabric until it's dry, and then when you wear the garment, the movement causes the pearls to pop open and release the fragrance slowly over time.
Is it necessary?
Yes, definitely. The wash process is actually quite hard on the fibers of your clothes. So using a fabric softener lubricates them, softens them, and actually prolongs the life of your clothes. But as important as the fragrance is very important to South African consumers. So when we formulated our range of MAC Soft, we specifically chose fragrances which we know consumers love, things like lavender and floral. And because of the encapsulated technology, the fragrances linger over time and deliver a long-lasting, delightful fragrance.
I can see why this one's popular.
MAC makes your wash day a little easier, working hard on tough stains so you don't have to, reducing creases and prolonging the life of your fabrics, making it easier for you to shine.
Shine indeed. Well, MAC makes your wash day a little easier, and we're making it easy for you to win a MAC hamper every week.
Now, to stand a chance of winning, SMS the keyword MAC to 33728. Those SMSs are charged at R1.50 and no free SMSs apply, but those T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com. And this week's giveaway, it ends this Friday at midnight, so make sure you get those SMSs in.
MAC Soft Fabric Conditioner has fragrance pearls that pop as you move to keep you smelling great for whoever you want to impress.
Shine on. And we will continue to shine on after a very quick break. When we come back, we continue our celebrations of Women's Month with a stunning performance from Belinda Davids.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on SABC3. It's our Wednesday. It's our Wednesday, guys. Middle of the week.
A
Man.
Woman Crush Wednesday, a Warrior Woman Wednesday. As of course, we are celebrating Women's Month. And we love Belinda Davis on your, David's your Feel Good Breakfast Show. She is the woman that has brought Whitney Houston to life. And she's going to give us one more moment in time with an incredible performance. Here it is.
To be a day to give the best of me. I'm only one, but not alone. My finest days is yet unknown. I broke my heart for every gain to taste the sweet. I face the pain, I rise and fall, yet through it all, this much remains. I want one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. Then in one moment of time I will feel eternity. I've lived to be the very best. I want it all, no time for less. I've laid the plans, laid the chance here in my hands. I want one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. Then in that one moment of time I will feel eternity. You're for a lifetime. If you seize that one moment in time, make it shine. Give me one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be, when all of my dreams are heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Just give me one
Show made with love by Clover.
in time
Another Feel Good production.
when I'm racing with destiny. Then in that one moment of time I will feel, I will be free.
Another feel-good production.
Show made with love. Show made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good.
He didn't. Give me one moment in time when I live is living it.